Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Good to see you. I hope you're all having a fantastic Thursday night. And we're here to have a little bit of fun today. We're here to talk about some fun stuff, some holiday stuff. We're also here to bring you to a nice holiday chill with some Star Wars talk, some genre talk. And I've got some cool people here with me today. So let me go ahead and introduce everybody who's hanging out with us. Of course, she was with us at Pop Pop Con Con, and you've seen her on here before, especially if you hung out with us when we were doing political talk. And that is directly to my screen left, my buddy Christina. Hey, Christina.
What up, yo? How you doing?
I'm doing good. So you apparently had a very interesting week. Do you want to let the internet know what happened to you?
Well, I've just been busy with work, and for most of the month now, I've just been staying or working from home. The one day I decide to come into the office and do some paperwork,
Right.
I heard from the CEO that someone had COVID.
Oh Lord, that's not great. You know what I mean? Like that's not the best look, but what
it was like
do?
it was like 2 weeks ago, but I was just
Right.
like, well, shit. So now everyone had to get tested. I already
Yeah.
have a rapid tester, so I didn't have to go to any doctor and risk any more infection. But then the next day I come in because we also had new people in my department, so I had to be there for support. But more people tested positive is like,
oh well, that's just lovely,
guys,
hey,
can we get it together?
Right, like come on, people, let's do this.
So our building is shut down, but I still have to work. And I'm locked out of my computer because I forgot what my first password was.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to figure out what your password is. So while you're figuring that out, we're going to introduce somebody who. Okay, this is on me, and I got a very angry message about a week before we did Pop Pop Con Con. Like, motherfucker, why'd you forget about me? And you know what? And you know what? This was one of those things that I could have sworn I sent her messages. I thought she was on the list. I was like, what are you talking about? You've got like 7 panels you're going to be on. And she's like, I ain't got nothing. And sure enough, I forgot one of my most awesome broadcasting buddies. I hang out with her all the time. I have not had a chance to chat with her in over a year. That is my former co-host when we used to do Shauncastic. We used to call it the BS Hour because her name's Brittney, my name's Shaun. That's my girl Brittney. Hey, Brittney, say hey to everybody.
Hi, everybody. And yeah, no, first off, I like how Shaun makes it sound like I turned into Sam Jackson. Yo, motherfucker, how dare you? But that's not really what happened. I was just like,
honestly, you were really hurt. Like you sounded very sad.
It was more Puss in Boots, wide-eyed, like, but what about me? It's okay. I'm fine. I've got a lot going on. I didn't want to be on this cool thing anyway.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. Yeah, it was honestly, it was a great guilt trip. And I was actually very impressed by it. But no, it really was a complete oversight on my part. I still don't know exactly what happened in my brain to make me forget about her. But I was like, hey, any panel you want to be on, come be on it. It's amazing. It's gonna be awesome. And sure enough, I still wasn't able to get that to happen because at that point, Brittney was like, I already got stuff to do. So even though you're inviting me, tough liggies. But I promised her.
Yeah, that was so good.
But I promised her as soon as we started getting back to doing this, I was going to get her on. And I was like, hey, are you free? She's like, I'm not free this week. And I was like, hey, are you free? Yeah, I'm free this week. I'm like, come on. So we got that worked out. So Brittney, tell us what's been going on with you. I have not had a chance to hang out with you or see you in well over a year.
Yeah, has it been a year? Oh my God, that's crazy. Yeah. Well, 2020 happened. COVID is a thing. And so it feels like 2020 has been the longest 8 years of my life. And not too much. So mostly just working. I was working from home, and then now I'm not working from home. I actually have to go into an office, which not loving it, but hey, it's a job.
Right.
You know,
how's that doing for your nerves? How your nerves doing with that? Because I'd imagine I'd be pretty freaked out, quite frankly.
it's not. It's okay. It could be worse.
Right.
We have lots of protocols. But that doesn't really stop shit from happening, which shit has happened.
Right.
Not to me, thankfully, but yeah, no, life's been I'm gonna keep it light, but life has been a bit of a kick in the junk. So it's just kind of muddling your way through. We don't, on top of like personal, we don't have the cool pop culture. We haven't had any cool movies to like run out to see. You guys know how much I love going to movies and early screeners and all that shit. Not a one. No cons. Can't hang out with you guys. That's normally when I see you guys. So no cons.
I know, right?
Life's been, it's blowing. So just give me that vaccine just right here seriously. So I can do things.
Yeah, I cannot wait until the vaccine finally arrives. I am just waiting for it. I'm like, come on, let's do it. And I am ready for it to happen. Oh, hey, Dante, how you doing? So Dante over there in Twitch land just wants to say, meow, meow, meow. So I'm sure that's for Christina and her headset.
I do covet your headset. I really want it.
Yeah. No, well, as everybody knows, Christina loves cats and has quite a few of them. And actually, Brittney does too. Brittney, you have what, 2 cats, right?
I have 2 now. They're over here being my lovely co-host, and hopefully they'll shut up during the this lovely outing. But if not, whatever.
It's okay. Many times we've had when Christina's on here, a cat butt will just jump in front of the camera. It's not a problem at all.
Is it really a cat butt, or is it Christina's butt with the cat headset on?
No, it's really a cat butt. It will be a cat butt. Yes, and I stand by that. And if they put me in a court of law,
I don't think we're at that level of friendship where he can see my butt.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like Christina and I are close. Like, like if she needed a kidney, I'd seriously consider it if I was a match. But I don't know if I want to see your butt. Like, just that's
a different level of friendship.
Yeah, like it's more like a brother-sister friendship more than like the will they won't they friendship. Like we're on the completely platonic side of the friendship angle, and we're okay with that.
You know what? I don't need to see the weirdness either.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely.
Although Brittney, on the other hand, hey girl, no, just kidding. Just kidding.
Hey girl, hey.
Make things awkward. Hey.
Look, 2020 has taught me shoot those shots. Doesn't matter. You know what? Try all the things. Get weird with your friends. Take that trip. Do those things. So hey girl.
Hey girl.
How you doing?
By the way, Dante wants to know if she can unload. We're trying to keep it light, but if you'd like to catch us up on what's been going on, sure, we'd love to hear from you. So let us know, and we'll be glad to comment on that. But yeah, Brittney, you were talking about there's not a lot going on geek-wise, like stuff that we normally catch up on. Because normally, Brittney and I, just like Christina and I, we'll throw links to each other all the time. We're talking about whatever new movies coming up, and there's just nothing happening right now. And it blows. It totally blows because all the cool stuff that was supposed to come out this year got delayed to next year. And it's just like, are you kidding me? And
I know.
And there's this moment of, okay, we know what's happening. We know what's going on, and we know it's going to get better eventually, but we have to go through the tunnel before we can kind of get out the other side. And, it's really bad when traffic's backed up in the tunnel. Brittney and Christina both know this metaphor. When you're traveling from Jersey to Manhattan and you're in that tunnel and it's backed up, you never think you're getting out of that damn tunnel.
I live here now. This is where I live.
This is where I live. Exactly. In fact, you get excited when you get to that marker that says New York on one side and Jersey on the other, and you're officially in New York. You get excited, but then you realize, oh crap, this is the halfway point.
I'm like, oh, we have so much further to go. Oh, okay, right. That's cool.
It's brutal. It's a brutal experience. But there are good things that happen. And there are a lot of fun stuff that still happens even in a year like 2020. And I just wanted to kind of like take this time to let's talk about some stuff that we've really enjoyed this year. And also let's talk about the stuff that we're looking forward to for 2021. Because let's be fair, 2020 didn't give us a lot. But what it did give us in some cases was really cool. One thing that I'm going to jump to immediately, and I know Christina's going to back me up on this, and I'm sure Brittany will too, because Brittany is right there. She's the third P in this pod, or fourth if you count Laura with us, but Laura's downstairs hanging out right now with the puppies, which is horror. Yeah, like horror this year has been like off the chain as far as like low, like super low budget, just horror movies just popping off. Oh, it's been so nice.
It's been kind of great. I've been loving me some Shudder. I was like, I'm gonna jump on. There's been some really good, more indie, not super high budget, horror that's been coming out. I will say I'm super bummed that we didn't get to see the new Candyman. I've been fucking waiting on that.
Yeah, the two big losses that we got from the two big losses from this year was Candyman and The Conjuring 3. Those were the two that I remember. Like I was like, I cannot wait for those two movies to come out. Because fun fact, the Conjuring movies are what basically, like, we were already super into horror movies, but that was like me and Christina, like, okay, we're now like every horror movie that comes out, we have to go and watch this franchise. And we've talked about it on previous broadcasts where we went to go see The Nun and how they had the one candle lighting source for that whole.
Christina, you didn't love it?
No. It only got interesting when it looped back over to the first Conjuring movie.
Right. Yeah, now that was an interesting end. Yeah, absolutely. But so we were really excited for Conjuring 3 because the Conjuring movies, I still remember being in the house with our friend Pamela watching Conjuring 2. And it was a movie I actually had to stop. Like, I can't watch this right now. I have to pause it for a minute and stand up. And there's nothing that, okay, spoilers, nobody dies in Conjuring 2. It's just spooky as hell.
Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just want the good spooky stuff. You don't always need people dying.
Yes, absolutely. Conjuring 2 is peak spooky. But I mean, you're absolutely right. But Shudder has been a godsend as far as keeping new content showing up. They bought a bunch of movies, have been dropping them. Blumhouse has been dropping some really good stuff. It's been a really cool thing. Christina, like for you, like what's one of like your favorite things that have been happening lately, like in the horror verse? Anything you caught lately that's really grabbed you?
In the horror verse, let's see. I know it's not my top tier one, but recently I watched Freaky.
Yes.
And it was a fun romp. I felt like they could have done more with the girl character when her body switched with the murderer.
Yep.
But it was still really good. I had fun with it, and Vince Vaughn playing as a teenage girl was funny.
Yeah, Laura and I we watched that. Brittany, have you seen it yet?
No, I wanted to. It was on my list, but I don't know. I've been in this malaise of I don't want to do anything. Right. It's hard for me to get excited, but I was excited about it, even though I kind of hate Vince Vaughn because he's not a nice person in real life, but I do like him as an actor. So I won't tell you guys that story. Some of y'all already know, but I was excited for Freaky and I'm a little bummed that I didn't get to see it. So I'm glad that there's good, some good, you know what? I'm gonna watch it this weekend.
Yeah, and you know, Brittany, I'll tell you, Brittany, one of the best parts of this movie is Vince Vaughn playing a 16-year-old girl. Like, it is legitimately hilarious because he just processes being a 16-year-old girl. It's hella funny. And the best part about it is if you're not a fan of Vince Vaughn, right? At one point, sooner or later, if the plot goes the way you think it will, he'll go back into his old body and more than likely get killed off, right? So you get to root for him the whole movie like you do like in Face Off with Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. And then at the end of the movie, they kill off the bad guy. You're like, yeah. So
Brittany, you get to have your cookies and eat them too.
There you go.
Yeah, and that's what Christmas is all about. Wait, so would you say, okay, look, I love Jack Black being channeled into a high school girl. Yeah. So when we saw Jumanji, I love Jack Black. Like, is Vince Vaughn that level entertaining and awesome and endearing, or not quite?
I think Jack Black does a better job. What do you think, Christina?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, well, Jack Black, he's a bit more animated with the high school girl thing. I feel like Vince Vaughn is a little bit more subdued until you get to like the very compromising parts where where it's time to make out with the boy.
Yeah, there's a great you just have to watch it. There's a context to it, but there's a very romantic scene and it's hilarious and you go full in. It's pretty hilarious. But I agree with Christina. The problem I have with Freaky is that it's a really good idea, but they didn't commit to the bit outside of Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn committed 100% to the role. Like you're there for him as far as being this girl, and he sells it. But there is his counterpart, which is the girl playing him as the psychopath. And in the trailers, they make it look like becoming this girl has empowered him sexually and empowered him with this energy that he's never had before. So he walks into high school like he just owns the place. And you're expecting that kind of vibe, and it never shows up. Like it shows up for like what, 30 seconds, Christina?
Yeah, but I mean, 30 seconds of buildup, and then you get this disappointing conclusion of that scene. But yeah, like it's another one of those cases where the trailer is better than the movie, I think.
Yeah, at least for that part, definitely. Yeah. Now, the one thing I will give them credit for is they made the serial killer persona very much like a Michael Myers, or almost like a Terminator. So if it locks on you, and I do refer to it as it because, this thing is not human. It's just, a force to murder. If it locks on you, that's it. Like you're toast. And you better run. So even as the girl, when the Vince Vaughn character is inside of her, it's pretty terrifying, which is actually pretty great. But we actually have a comment here. Dante had asked if she could talk about what's been going on with her. So let's give her a moment here. So Dante says her ginger kitty passed. I'm sorry about your kitty. But she did a new one named Pumpkin. And she got a new job as of today. For those of you who have been hanging out with us on Twitch for the last year or so, you remember that when the lockdown happened, Dante was, if I remember correctly, I think she was a dealer at a casino. And they wouldn't allow her to come back. Until, of course, obviously things were safer. So that she's basically been just waiting for some opportunity either to come back and start, dealing cards again or to get another job. So Dante, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you got a new job because Lord knows people need less stress in their life right now, not more. So that's freaking fantastic. But yeah, I would say though, going back to the horror conversation, Brittany, I think Christina talking about Freaky is a good example. I think talking about Shudder is a good example. It happened early in 2020, but it still is by far my favorite thing that's happened all year, which is the new movie Color Out of Space, which you can watch on Shudder. That movie's so good. Oh, I am so happy with that. It was
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I love Nick Cage, and you have to lean into like the cheese, and I'm all down for that. And I like Lovecraft as well. I mean, you gotta. But it was great. Like I really, really liked how he leaned into it. I loved the body horror. Oh man, it was so good. And the use of practical effects, which I'm always team practical effects. So
yes,
it was really, really good. And the storyline was I was really impressed with that, honestly.
I 100% agree. I think one of the great things they did for this particular movie was they absolutely found a way to make Nicolas Cage work. All the weird eccentricities that he has, they found a way to make it work for him. So they said, "Hey, you gotta play subdued." We got to remember, Nicolas Cage has an Academy Award. The man knows how to act, So like, the man knows how to actually, perform and be a character. And basically, they came up to him and they said, "Look, if you give us 85% of what we're asking for, we'll let you have that last 15%, and you can go full you can go full Cage." And the way they wrote the script, if you don't know the concept of this movie, this alien entity lands on this farm, basically, and it starts to infect the surrounding area. And this family starts to kind of become controlled by it, kind of like subconsciously. And so Nicolas Cage has to basically play a father who's trying to keep it together and be a very loving father who starts to go nuts. So just by writing it like that, you can have a character who's very much grounded, and then he could turn on a dime and go full Cage, and it feels like a choice versus just Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage. And it's really kind of brilliant. I've been hyping this movie up all year, and I'm still just like, man, like they crushed it. And I'm completely like just obsessed with the fact that they were able to get that kind of performance out of Cage. That just, I'm like, this is the old school Nicolas Cage that we love. That he'd actually would show up for performance and every once in a while go into his kookiness. And if he can do more of that, I'm all about it. I am actually excited for future Nicolas Cage projects, which is actually another thing we could talk about. Which is, do you guys have seen the commercial for Nicolas Cage's history of swear words that's coming out in early January?
I've never heard of it, but the last trailer that I saw that had Nicolas Cage in it was Jiu-Jitsu, and it was a movie. It was a movie that showed every other martial art except Jiu-Jitsu.
He could have been like in a remake of Gymkata. I mean, it could have been that. So, and if you've never seen Gymkata, Christina, you owe it to yourself.
Okay, she's like, I've never even heard of it.
So, Christina, let me elucidate you on what Gymkata is. In the mid-'80s, when ninja and kung fu and the Karate Kid were all at their peak in American culture, very, very, very low-budget Canon Films said, let's make a martial arts movie, but let's do something people have never seen before. So they go get a former Olympian who was really good on like the parallel bars and on the horse and on all the gymnastics, and they come up with this martial art called Gymkata. So imagine a movie where they keep having to come up with set pieces that look like Olympic vaulting horses and stuff like that, so he could do all of his tricks and turn them into martial arts. I swear to God, there's a moment where he jumps on a podium, and you know how gymnasts will get on that pommel horse and they'll start swinging their legs up really high in either direction?
Yeah.
He does this, but he makes them into kicks. So he's kicking a bunch of bad guys because they keep running at him in a circle. So he just keeps spinning in a circle, attacking all the bad guys. It's horrific. And it's kind of amazing at the same time. But it will make you mad because...
Why do you hate me?
In order to appreciate the good, sometimes we have to endure the bad.
you know I used to be like a teacher in karate, right?
Yes, I know. I know you. No, it was Taekwondo, actually, I think, wasn't it?
No, it's me.
How are you going to correct her?
No. I forget. I forget if it was.
Correct me on my life.
No, I could have sworn. I thought it was Taekwondo that you did.
No, I kicked someone's ass who took Taekwondo.
Oh, okay. See, I'm look. All right, it's been a 2020 of a year, okay, and I fully embrace that I have 2020 brain. So, just information falling out the back.
You're adorable.
No, but seriously, I mean, it's been a year, so it's been a nutty year. But there is some other good stuff that's coming up. Wonder Woman 84 is just in another week. We get. I can't wait to watch that. The day after that, we get the new Letterkenny season 9. That's going to be fantastic.
I'm watching.
I know, right? Tomorrow we get the final episode of Mandalorian season 2, which.
Are you prepared?
No.
Yes. No. Maybe.
Whatever. You'll be fine.
I should be okay. But I'm concerned. I'll be honest. I'm a little concerned. But Laura, she's got her shrine. I don't know if you saw Brittany, but Laura has a shrine now. Up to Baby Grogu. We'd gone to an art store about.
Wait. I'm sorry. Baby who?
Yeah.
Baby who?
What'd I say?
You said Baby Grogu. We don't ascribe to that. We don't ascribe to that. We're #Baby Yoda over here. Because
no. Okay. I call him Baby Grogu or Grogu the Baby Yoda. I incorporate all the data. So because until they give his species a name, he's a Baby Yoda. He is a Baby Yoda.
Well, true, but he also officially has a name that sounds like Gogurt, which I'm not a fan of. But that is like the worst name ever. I take issue. I was waiting for a name. Like, I'll try not to go on a rant, but I had
do it. Rant. Go.
Man, wait. Do I need to stay PG? I don't even know. You know me in my potty mouth. I can't help it.
I would try to keep it PG-13. Like you get like two F-bombs for the show. How's that?
Okay, cool. I won't. Oh, do I want one now? No. Okay, you know what? F Grogu. What the lamest fucking name? There's one. Lamest name for no. I was expecting something. Look, I know in the Star Wars universe there are some crazy friggin' names.
Right.
Obviously, one of my favorites is oh god. Okay, it's fine. I can't Grogu. Why? No, he's Baby Yoda. I can't. Look, I refuse.
Grogu.
You'll get used to it just like you'll get used to it just like we had. I mean, seriously, there are so many stupid names in Star Wars. Like we have Chewbacca.
Chewbacca is amazing.
No, but the name, when you just say it out loud, Chewbacca. When I heard it as a kid, I would go, Chewbacca. To me, it sounded like somebody chewing on tobacco. That's what my brain as a kid went to when somebody said Chewbacca. So as a kid, I always waited for Chewbacca to spit out like a big old glob of black nastiness. So I mean Yoda. Like when I hear Yoda, I hear Yoda. I mean, like Yaddle, I imagine is that thing that happens to your neck as you get really old and it just starts to push down.
The turkey neck.
The turkey neck is the Yaddle. I mean, come on, they have really bad names. Okay, so Grogu.
Dooku is fun.
Yeah, Dooku, right? Count Dooku. So wait, you count it afterwards? That's sick, dude. I mean, Palpatine is that thing that you do for a mammogram, right? You have to Palpatine the boob, So I mean, the names are bad. They have bad names, okay?
But look, you're just helping my point. Star Wars already has all these names, and then they go here, Grogu. What?
So what do you want to call him? What would you have called him?
I don't even know anything other than something that makes me think of a creamy yogurt dessert that you have after school.
There's a show I listen to, and they make a joke that Grogu sounds like an erectile enhancement cream. So they say get some Grogu and.
See, they're not. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna. No. We get Final Mandalorian tomorrow. I'm excited about it. You're excited about it.
I'm gonna sip it on Gogurt. Sounds okay to me.
If you put the Go-Gurts in a freezer, then you get a tasty frozen treat.
It's true.
And so we want to put. Wait, do we want to eat Baby Yoda now? Is that what we're doing? No.
Yeah, it's delicious. Well, after he ate the frog eggs, right? So now we're all like murder Baby Grogu. So that's no.
Oh yeah, the uproar that caused on the internet.
Oh,
I mean,
man, yeah, that was. And I know that they were just going for a gag, but that was crazy.
People got mad, big mad. And I was like, look, y'all, it's 2020 and life is hard. I know we don't have anything to really do, but do you really want to do a petition to cancel Grogu because he didn't end a species. He just shortened a bloodline for one particular. Oh, the frog people. They're great.
Well, the thing I think about for the frog people is that like from a biological standpoint, species do not lay that many eggs if they expect all of them to make it to birth. Like that's just not how that works.
Exactly. You expect, you lay 100, you're like maybe 50% might make it, but then might just be stillbirth. So 20%. So you got 20 children out of, and that's cool.
Yeah, and I know.
I don't know. I don't have kids.
Right, but I mean, like from a species evolutionary point of view, if you're having literally a 1-to-1, yeah, that's clearly. But I mean, frogs, they lay hatches of eggs, and very few of them actually turn into full blown frogs. They eat each other. They don't mature enough. So I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get the, but at the same time, I'm like. The mom was clearly not really freaked out because I know for a fact she caught at least one time him, dropping an egg, and she was like, "It's cool. I still got 35."
It's like either she counted or she's a terrible mother herself.
She might just be a terrible mother.
Yeah, I mean, so I try not to get too pissed off about that because I mean, I remember reading on Twitter, and it was really sad because people were taking this personally. As a person. They're like, I can't have kids easily, and this was really hurtful to me. And it's like, well, you're not a frog. I sometimes I think, and again, I think it's a 2020 thing. I think we're just internalizing a little too much.
Yeah,
I really have feelings on that. I'm like,
it's not the same. Internalization.
Yeah.
we internalize our own experiences or inexperiences on a thing,
right?
On someone else's experience a little too much.
And it's just, and I think that, not to invalidate other people's journeys, but you have to also realize, was somebody truly trying to make a comment on your life, or were they just, maybe just having this moment where they thought it might be humorous because clearly it's a frog person and they're going to have, some survivors.
And like Baby Yoda has been eating like other frogs, and they thought it was fucking cute with the frog legs sticking out of his mouth.
Right. I mean, seriously, right? But now the thing I thought was funny was that the follow-up episode. Oh, we got a great comment here. When I said when I said dropping an egg, she said made it sound dirty. Mom caught him dropping an egg. Okay, yeah, that did actually sound a little dirty. But
gross.
Yeah, that is a little gross, actually. But I didn't mean it to be that way. I wasn't trying to be like nasty or anything. But no, well, maybe. The hell was I saying? I forgot what I was talking about. I totally derailed myself. But what I was going to say was, one thing I thought was funny was the following episode. Baby Grogu keeps trying to eat all these freaking things, and he gets in more and more trouble by it. Like at one point, the spiders try to eat him. But in the next episode, he gets eaten by a kraken. His soup tries to eat his own face, and then at the end of the episode, another little squiddy thing tries to eat his face. Like, I think that was a life lesson for Grogu. I think he understood that. Oh, maybe, just maybe, I shouldn't just eat everything willy nilly. So I tend to look at it.
Don't put everything in your mouth.
Right. Don't put everything in your mouth, And let's be fair. Daddy Mando is a kind of stick the fork in the electrical socket kind of dad. He's one of those kind of parents. So, I think that's what we really saw here. Laura is looking very... do you have a comment, an opinion, sweetie? She just walked up here, and she's looking at me like,
she does.
How dare you besmirch Baby Grogu? Do you have an opinion? Do you want to come say hey? Nope. She's just like... She's just giving me the eyeball and smiling like, no. Yeah, Laura said she was feeling not camera ready today. She's got unicorn slippers on, and she's hanging out with the pups. I said you looked feral yesterday because she was doing this thing with her hair. It was very hot. She was kind of like styling her hair up a bit, and it was just kind of, it looked hot. Like it was like a windswept feral hair, kind of like, yeah, what's up, girl? So apparently that wasn't a compliment. I was like, hey, what's up? My bad.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Better compliment. But you know what? You said tomorrow we get Mando, but you know what we got tonight?
Well, tonight we got Star Trek Discovery and The Stand.
I know. I'm so excited for both. Woo!
I've already watched them both. I watched them both. I burned through them, and I'm like,
I watched Star Trek already, and it was sad.
I have not. Oh no, no spoilers.
Oh, right.
No
spoilers. Sorry.
No spoilers.
I don't need to. It just caught me in the feels.
It did.
Okay.
It has a feels catch. But this is something I want to talk about before we get into more Star Wars talk, which is way back in the day, guys, way before we ever started broadcasting on Twitch and Facebook and all that stuff. I used to have a podcast called Shauncastic, and Brittney and I, for like the last couple of years, we're doing it together, kind of like as co-hosts, and we would just riff back and forth like we're doing right now. But we had this segment that we called the Star Trek Report. And at the time, Brittney had only ever seen what is known as the Kelvin universe, those J.J. Abrams reboots. And she was really into Star Trek. And she's like, I want to watch more, but I have no idea where to start. And I said, I'll make you a list. And so I made her this list of must-watch episodes of like OG Trek all the way through until, at that point, more or less the present. And I said, just start here and go and enjoy the journey. When last I left off with her, she was in the early years of Next Generation. So first off, Brittney, have you continued to watch any of the old school Trek? Where are you at in your Star Trek journey? I want to know for my own personal edification.
Where you at, girl?
Yeah.
So, okay. What had happened was...
that's not a good part of the story.
off the wagon.
Okay. No, I slacked. I did watch more. I'm still in next gen. It's been over a year. I'm still in next gen. I'm in season 4. Okay. So I haven't gotten too much further, but I still love it. And it's still on my list to like really tackle and like plow through, because everyone is just like, oh my God, you got to get to Cisco and you got to get to Janeway and and I know I got to get there. And apparently I have to see the horribleness that is Enterprise, which I did listen to the soundtrack, the theme song. Oh no. Yeah. That is effing garbage. What the shit?
Skip it every time. Never listen to it. Just skip right over the theme song. If you're watching it, if it has it on Netflix and it says skip intro, just skip it.
Absolutely. Like normally I hear I hear TOS, I hear Next Gen, I hear that intro music and my heart swells. And I'm like, this is even Discovery. I love Discovery. So that's what happened. I was watching Next Gen and then Discovery was a thing, and I had surgery and I was like, I need something to watch. And I was like, so I binged Steven Universe, which A+, recommend everybody. And then I got into Discovery and loved it. Like I loved everything about Discovery. It was a little slow at the end of season 1, but I was like, no, this is what I want. And the plan was to go back. And I did kind of go back, but then everyone's like, oh, you also need to start Supernatural. So I've never seen a lick of Supernatural until recently. And now I'm in season 6 out of 15, 24 1-hour-long episodes. I don't know how you people originally sat through this, because Jesus Christ on a pogo stick. It's rough. Like it's good.
Yeah, I stopped around.
See, no one's started. Oh, really? See, no, I'm a completionist. This is my problem, because Shaun gave me the list and he's like, no, these are the quintessential. It'll hit your high points. It'll give you a good rounded. And me being stubborn ass me, I was like, but I really I want to watch them all. And he's like, you don't need them all. There's some bad stuff in there. And I'm like, no, I told you
there's bad stuff in there. I told you. Yeah. There's one episode, The Voice of the Darkness with Deanna Troi, where she's the only one who's conscious and she keeps having dreams and a green cloud talks to her in her sleep. Okay. And it is the most
that's where she has sex with a ghost, right?
No, that's the Crusher episode. Crusher has sex with a ghost, okay?
Oh, Crusher.
But, oh my God. No, Deanna Troi, she has this weird nightmare thing where she refuses to go to sleep because the green cloud's it's like, where am I? And it's like, I don't care. Oh.
And Shaun's like, don't watch that one. It's more trash. And I was like, no, but I feel like I need them all. What if I'm like, we don't have the 100% same taste and everything. So I'm like, but what if there's an episode I really do like? Wait, what was the one? Did you tell me to skip the one with Wesley playing ball on the planet? He was playing baseball or something.
The horny people. Yes, with the horny people. Yes,
you told me to skip it. And it was good. It was good. Have you met me? I like things that are horny. Whatever, but it was good. I enjoyed it, and I was like, "Oh, this is quality trash."
That's you take Picard to Risa, where he meets Vash, and he hangs out with time travelers and the Horgon. Don't waste your time on, shut up, Wesley. Like,
I also did Picard too. See, that's what happened. I should have been watching all this really more classic Trek, but then I got all wrapped up in Picard, which Picard was really good, especially the second season.
With Next Generation, because Data, died at some point before Picard.
Look at you spoiling things for people who haven't seen Picard.
In 30 years, Data died 20 years ago. Like, that's not spoiling. Like nothing.
But we don't know that he is an android. He could have lived forever.
You didn't see Nemesis. You didn't have to endure Nemesis. Okay.
You know what? I saw some of the. Okay, so that was the other thing. I had seen some of the Star Trek movies. Right. Oh wait, no, I didn't see Nemesis. I heard it was also Nemesis. Trash.
Oh, you didn't see it. Oh, man, Nemesis.
I saw The Search for Spock. I saw Wrath of Khan.
Yes, you did.
I saw First Contact.
You saw a Journey Home. You saw you watched the one I told you to skip, which is 5, which isn't terrible, but It's all right. But you did watch Undiscovered Country, which is my personal favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Undiscovered Country.
It's all right.
Don't start again. Don't. All right, like just don't. All right, I know you're just trying to egg me on here, but like,
hey, Brittany. Hey, Brittany.
Yes,
all this just sounds like all your trials and tribulations. It just sounds like it's been a long road.
No. Nobody here has faith in the heart. Screw that theme song.
It's so bad. Why?
Like literally, Laura, if she wants to get me going, she'll just be in the bathroom, like brushing her teeth, and she'll stop and she'll go, "Faith in the heart," and I'm just like, "Stop it!" Like, she'll just mess with me. Oh my god. Okay, so basically, you jumped over a bunch of stuff. So you're caught up on basically modern Trek, and you've caught up to about season 4, so to next gen. So you've gotten no Deep Space Nine under your belt, no Voyager under your belt, no Enterprise yet.
Oh wait, I saw a couple of deep. Wait, oh Lord, Trekkies are gonna come after me. Wait, Deep Space Nine is with Janeway?
No, Janeway's Voyager.
I saw a couple episodes of Voyager. Apparently, there's some very really good. Oh, it's the one where she is the only one, like no one else remembers her. She's in a different. It's a 2-parter, and they don't exist, and she has to get back. It's whatever. It was really good. Obviously, I
don't watch Warp 10. Don't watch Warp 10. Just, when you get to the episode and you see it, just skip over it. Okay. In fact, you know what? We're going to play the spoiler game because you really don't need to watch this episode. Okay, so in Voyager, they're stuck on another part of the cosmos. They're stranded, okay? And the whole point of Voyager is they're trying to get back to the Alpha Quadrant. And in pursuit of that, they come up with this thing called the Delta Flyer. And the Delta Flyer is basically a hot rod shuttlecraft that's made by Tom Paris, who's the pilot of the Voyager crew. And they figure out a way that they might be able to go faster than Warp 9. And he was like, if we break the Warp 9 barrier, we can get home way faster. So he volunteers to take the Delta Flyer out, but Janeway says, no, I'm a more accomplished pilot. I'll go with you. We'll do it together. And so they go past Warp 10. They come back. They're like, oh my God, it totally works. This is totally going to work. It's going to be amazing. And over the span of like 24 hours, they start to mutate. And they eventually turn into giant iguana catfish things that are the size of like Dobermans.
What?
Yes, and in the process of them mutating into this, what you find out is that going faster than Warp 10 messes with your genetic code, and it actually starts to turn you into a hyper-evolved version of yourself. So eventually all humans will evolve into these weird catfish lizard people. But here's the twist. Before they fully evolve into the catfish lizard dog things, Paris and Janeway get horny, so they basically boink on an alien planet as catfish dog people, and they leave a bunch of eggs behind. And eventually they figure out a way to turn them back into humans and they go on their merry way. That's the whole episode. You don't need this in your life, Brittany.
What?
Don't.
Okay, hold on. You're saying I don't need this in my life. What? You made it sound really interesting. Talking about horny catfish Doberman people.
Like they're like, okay, hold on. Like, wait, hold on. I gotta prove this to you. Oh my God, I'm about to open this stupid thing up. Let me see if I can find the dang.
I thought we were going to talk about Star Wars.
Let's talk about Star Wars. But there are rules.
I don't know where this conversation is going, but we're doing one of those things where, like, are we tangent Star Trek for Star Wars? Oh no!
No, we're definitely going to talk about Star Wars. I promise. If I can get to the damn end.
We are not those nerds, although we could be those nerds, but we are not.
We can do
catfish
that on purpose. Yeah, catfish.
My Lord! I was just trying to freaking pull up the image for it, and as soon as I did, it tried. There we go. Sorry about that. That was horrible.
It linked you to some weird random porn?
No, it linked me to a freaking. Hold on, I'm going to pull up. Yeah, hold on. Here we go. We're going to show you now. If you're ready to see it, this is going to be terrible, and you're going to hate it, and it's terrible. Here we go. Ready? That should now. You guys should be able to see that. I believe. Yes.
What so, yeah, in that?
What are you talking about?
That's what they turn into. Okay. And at some point when they're like this, they knock the booties, and they
Oh,
Brittney, please, just don't do it, okay? Like, don't do
That
it.
is some nightmare fuel. Why did you do that to me? All right, I guess I'll
You
skip
see the episode and
that
says,
one.
when it says warp 10, just skip it. Just skip it.
Well, you were so tickled by it. I don't know if I should. I feel like
You know what? It's kind of like it's one of those
wait,
episodes.
what if I get really drunk and watch it?
You know, since I've never been drunk, I couldn't tell you, but it might be worth it if you're really drunk.
All right.
It could be a great I'm drunk episode. I will admit that it could be perfect I drunk. But I don't know. So yeah.
You've been on the same level as drunk when you've taken allergy pills, though.
I have. I have, and that's hilarious.
Getting high on that Claritin.
Yeah. No, it was
it's like Benadryl.
It was like Benadryl.
Oh yeah,
I just had like
probably Benadryl. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he got super wasted on Benadryl.
I did, and I was on the floor, eating on the floor, talking on Twitter. And I think I might have gotten engaged to a woman, and we were going to have like a cupcake wedding cake thing, and it was weird. So Laura swears that I was completely and utterly not messing around. I don't remember it really; it's like really fuzzy, but yeah,
it was amazing.
I had a bad reaction.
Really quick, right before we go back to Star Wars, where we need to be, back to Shudder, and you talked about Color Out of Space, which yes. What about Host? Host was did you not? Yeah, I love that it was shot in the pandemic, and I loved this. What we're doing was happening, and then who knows? Like all of a sudden, it's just lights out, and then there's a thing, and it was done really, really well.
It really was. It was absolutely.
I did see it, and I watched it by myself, and I hated it because.
Did you?
No, like not hated as in, this is garbage. But
what is happening? You're coming to get me! Okay, yeah, that's what it was like. Really?
Yeah.
Wait,
that was basically Host the movie. So there you go.
I can see your
You're
teeth.
welcome.
They're so shiny.
You know what? That's that. Welcome to being a black person. That's what we hear our whole life. It's cool.
Okay, first off, I have never. I can see your teeth really well. Like.
I mean, I was thinking that, but I wanted you to say it. Not you.
See, look, I'm here to talk the truth. Look, you know how many times like you go to like a club or you go to like a nice lounge bar and you're all cute and everything, and you're with your Caucasian friends. You're like, let's take a picture, and it's like you're in the middle, and they're like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I know, I know. Like, yeah, photography was not made for us melanated people. That is a fact. You can Google it. So yeah, this is why I brush my teeth, because when I'm in the dark, just for that reason.
People know you there because there's Brittney's smile.
Yeah, she has such a nice smile.
Hey, you took us down this road, not me. Okay, like this.
I did, and it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, so we have a question. Go ahead, Dante. Ask us a question before we tee off into Star Wars, because we do have some Star Wars stuff. Let's see here. What's the question? Did that turn the two into those things, or were they both male? No. There was a man and a woman. So they did what nature does when a man and a woman catfish dog thing decides to
Like they did it like they do on the Discovery Channel.
Channel.
They got full Nat Geo. So.
Are you saying that life finds a way?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes. In that episode,
we're dorks. I love us.
Oh, wait, but before we go to Star Wars, because we're definitely going to talk more about Star Wars here, because we have a request today to do some Star Wars talk. I did want to also give a shout out to one more thing that was really cool that happened this year in the Star Trek universe, which is the Lower Decks.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really good.
Lower Decks is amazing.
It utilizes all the jokes we've had for the past 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And with animation, it easily can bring out all the aliens that we don't really see in the other series,
right?
Like blob monsters. Or
an Orion trying to make a dog, because I think I actually know what dog is, but I've never actually made dogs. So
made the dog.
And then at the end, the dog talks and just flies away, and it's just like, wait, dogs don't talk. They don't? Like, I thought all dogs talk. No, they don't talk.
I love it.
It was really good.
You guys, if you have access to CBS All Access and you haven't tried, or what is it called now? Paramount Plus, I think is what
it's still CBS All Access.
All Access.
Yeah, I think it's next year they're becoming Paramount Plus. It's like in the next.
They can get fucked. It's CBS All Access.
It's CBS All Access. But CBS All Access has the Lower Decks, which is an animated Star Trek show. And I didn't honestly think it was going to work. I was like, it'll probably good for one joke and then it's going to get flat. But it lands really, really well. The co-creator from Rick and Morty, what's his name? Roland. This is his last name.
Justin Roiland.
Yeah, Justin Roiland. Yeah, he was the EP on this and really kind of got it going, and it's awesome. Okay, now we've lost Dante. Dante's going to go watch the Catfish Dog People. So bye, Dante. Have fun. We lost the Catfish Dog People. But no, I was very surprised and pleasantly so with how just strong. Oh, hey, baby, come here.
Oh, hi.
How strong the series is.
Oh, they're talking to me. Look at the baby.
I'm talking to Sasha. I love you.
Aww.
Not the
I
nose.
know. This is like the first time I've seen her in pictures.
I know, little Sasha. She's adorable. Yep, that's my ear. Yep, still my ear. You can't get inside of it because there's an ear button. Well, not anymore because you licked it out of my freaking ear. So.
And that's what happened.
Yeah, she's up. Yeah, she's just sitting here right next to me, she's just trying to claw her way up. Like, come on, let me up. Do you want to sit in my lap? Okay, hold on. I'll make you a little lap spot. Hold on. Come here.
Aw.
My kids, they try to sit on my lap, but I'm so, my chair makes my lap so slanted that they just roll off.
Hey, Roxy, how you doing? So let's talk a little bit about Star Wars, because we actually have a request here. Christina, you set us up with what exactly was requested, because we had been mentioning the fact that I have been doing a Star Wars marathon. We've been talking a lot about, all the cool stuff that's happening with Star Wars, and you got a request from a friend. So let us know what's going on with this.
Yeah, so a friend of mine, from the office, a friend of mine from the office, he knew I'm the resident geek. In that place. So he comes to me for questions, just for anything big, with he had questions for me about The Boys, and now he has questions for me about this. And and just I just need to know because he's never watched Star Wars before. Let me just say that. And he started watching The Mandalorian, and he saw Rogue One. That was, I think, his first movie.
Nice.
Sorry.
And so some friends have recommended that he just go through a marathon of all the movies. A friend of him gave him the sequential order, the chronological order, and he went through that. So he muscled through the prequel movies. And he's powered through episode 4, A New Hope, and it's so far he's bored by the movies. It's does it get good?
Right.
And but he wants to watch all of these movies because he wants the back information that is mentioned in Mandalorian.
Right.
It was oh, okay, well.
So he's all about Mandalorian, but he has no context.
Yes, he has no context.
Okay, yeah.
So I was buckle up, because, was it Empire Strikes Back? That's the good one.
Yeah.
And and it's okay, I'm excited now. And it's yes, as you should.
Yeah,
and,
Empire's fantastic. I'm a big fan of the machete cut, but we'll get to that in a minute. But please continue.
Yeah. So it's So he just basically he wants a comprehensive rundown so he can have context for for Rogue One, mostly for Mandalorian because gosh, there is a lot of baggage. 40, 44, 43 years of baggage.
There is, yes. When you get to Mando, that is so. If you use Episode 1, Phantom Menace, as your starting point to get to Mandalorian, it's like 42 something years of history. It's a slog, no doubt. And that's not a bad thing because you're talking about you're going through different eras of this world. So you're starting at the end of the Old Republic, which basically it's falling apart. You go through the era of the Empire, and then you're getting into the New Republic, which of course will lead into the new the sequel movies, the new sequel trilogy. So that is a lot of thing here. Oh wait, hold on. Hope I'm not interrupting the podcast with these bits. Just want to show some love and support. Not at all, Roxy. Thank you. We appreciate you. Thanks for cheering 100 bits. Absolutely. But no, show your love. Say, hey, we're here. We want conversation. If you guys have questions or whatnot, please ask questions. We're here for it. Make that happen. And if not, you just want to kick back and listen to us, that's okay too. This is just basically what, like back in the day, this is what we would do, just sitting around talking about stuff. And then people said, hey, you should do a podcast. And we did that for like 7 years. And then we started doing the Twitch thing. And it just, we like having geeky conversations and talking about stuff that we like talking about. So that's what we're here for. So join us, talk, if you want to comment, great. If not, totally cool. But yeah, Christina, that is the big problem with Star Wars right now is that if you haven't seen Star Wars, you've been one of those people that have not been, just kind of culturally kind of like brought into it already. It's a lot. I mean, it could look, I imagine it's almost at this point, kind of like how Brittney probably felt at the beginning of doing Star Trek.
Yeah.
Where, you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, it's a lot because you're like, oh, I'm going to start at the beginning. Wait, that was how long ago? And then what's happened? Yeah, not only like in real time long ago, but also in the long ago in a far away. No, that's anyway. But all of those things, I just feel bad for him because I think he started in a very ass backward way. To get into it. No wonder he's bored. First off, which I know I'm the outlier and I'm in the minority of I hated Rogue One. I friggin' hated it. And I'm sorry he watched it. Oh yeah, the best part of Rogue I didn't give a good nothing. I didn't care that spoilers, the ending, the thing that happens that everyone cries over, didn't care. I didn't care.
Okay, so I muted Brittney because she's talking garbage. And we don't let garbage. I'm playing. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Look,
I'm sorry.
I didn't care about. I just didn't care about it. The only two people I cared about, K2SO, because shout out Alan Tudyk all day, every day. And the best part of that was the end when you get to Darth Vader. I'm a huge movie whore. It is hard. If I fall asleep in a movie, it's because I drank too much, which that's not really a thing in a movie theater. I fell asleep during Rogue One. I fell asleep before, I don't remember his name, Forrest Whitaker. Before he died, spoilers. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So before Saw died, I fell asleep because I didn't care. I didn't care about anybody. It has hot ass Mads Mikkelsen. Didn't care. And I woke up. I went wearing my Darth Vader dress. And I woke up and perked up at the end and was cheering and shouting for that. It is not worth sitting through that movie for the last 10, 15 minutes of awesome goodness that is Darth Vader. And I know people are going to come at me and be like, but what about you've got the blind Jedi and his trusty sidekick, helper, guardian man. And look, I don't even remember names. I don't even care. That's how much I hated it. I don't care about anybody. It's garbage. I'm done.
Christina,
that's how you really feel.
Yeah, I know. I was expecting a little bit of heat on this because I know that Brittney has some controversial opinions. But damn, Brittney, you just. So, but I know Christina loves Rogue One. So, Christina, would you like to have a rebuttal by any chance? So everybody, Christina.
Brittney, you're just wrong. I'm
sorry. Our lovely Roxy, she said she's uncultured when it comes to Star Wars. Roxy, let me go and tell you this now. Don't watch Rogue One. Start with 4, 5, and
I will.
I love you guys.
I miss you, Brittany.
Right. No, but now I will say that for Rogue One, for me, I loved Rogue One. I thought Rogue One to me is a classic, and maybe that's why it lands better for me. Is it's like a classic war movie, like you would see The Dirty Dozen or The Magnificent Seven or The Great Escape. It's much more in the dirt, in the muck with everyday people. It's not the fantastical Star Wars that you get with the Skywalker saga. That I really liked seeing because you can't always be Jedi. You got to show some other stuff as well.
Thank you.
So for me, I really enjoyed that. And I also like the fact that one of the things that I've always had an opinion of is the very first Star Wars, A New Hope, for me, is not a great movie. I can't get through A New Hope easily, especially as a kid. As a kid, the thing that got my attention in A New Hope was when Obi-Wan and Darth Vader started fighting. As soon as the lightsabers came out, I was all about this movie. But that's like an hour and 15 minutes into the film, and it just grabbed me. And it's always been that way, even as an adult, that first hour, I'm just like, nah. But now with Rogue One is so thrilling because of this fight to get the information, and that leads literally a second later into A New Hope. That high I have from Rogue One carries me through that first hour of A New Hope with no problems. So
because you've been watching them in sequential order yourself, right?
Right. So well, I mean, I grew up with them, but so right, that really allows me to kind of just launch right into A New Hope, and boom, I'm out the gate. So for me, it's a really great way of improving a movie that, again, I love, but it's just not my favorite. But you're absolutely right. As far as the watch order goes, I think if you've never seen Star Wars at all, there's something called the machete cut. And the machete cut, I think, is the smartest way of watching the original series. And if you've never heard of this, it's actually a pretty easy way of doing it. You watch Star Wars A New Hope, which is the very first Star Wars. You watch Empire Strikes Back, which at the end of that movie has the big reveal. And then you watch the prequels, episodes 1, 2, and 3. So that way you understand the backstory of how we got to this point. And then you watch episode 6, which is Return of the Jedi. That right there gives you the core universe that you need to understand what the hell is going on. That's called the Skywalker saga. The last 3 movies that they came out with, episodes 7, 8, and 9, is the continuation and quote unquote end of the Skywalker saga. That basically tells you what's happens with Han, Leia, and Luke. So if you want to go down that journey, you can. Some people love it, some people don't. I am of the mind that I think the problem I have with the modern trilogy is Disney was stupid for not having an end story written when they did the first movie. I have no problem with directors. I think the directors did a fine job. I think visually they were great. I loved what Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi. But The Last Jedi, which is the middle piece of that trilogy, feels like it should be its own movie. It doesn't feel like it's part of that story when you watch it with episode 7 and episode 9. Episode 8 doesn't line in there. And that's a failing of Disney. That's not a failing of Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson. The I throws me because I want to say Rian. So Rian Johnson.
Rian. Yeah, Ryan.
No, seriously, like there's so many different wacky spellings. I don't know. But so for me, that's the failing of the modern trilogy. But I still enjoy it. I mean, I dare people to tell me that lightsaber fight scene in that gigantic superstar destroyer in episode 8, where it's the red throne room and you have all the Imperial Guard coming after the main characters, and there's just this beautiful fight. It's like a lightsaber ballet. It is gorgeous.
Yeah, that fight scene and the concurrent scene with the skiffs.
Yes.
On that planet with all the salt and then the red stuff underneath those were like visually awesome.
And not to mention the fact of the force fight at the very end, that whole confrontation between uncle and nephew, which is all I'll say. I'm not using names right now because you may not have seen this, so I don't want to spoil it. And of course, how could we forget the most epic suicide death of all time in Star Wars, which is death by warp speed.
Dude,
there's a lot to love in that movie.
I loved her character.
So good. It just doesn't fit in the story. And this is something Christina and I have talked about a lot when it comes to the modern trilogy. The first episode, which was done by J.J. Abrams, the last episode, do all the quote unquote narrative heavy lifting. The middle point, where really that should be where all of your storylines and threats are put on Front Street. There's nothing there. There's actually it's a denouement almost.
Well, I think, I mean, the way it's turned out, it feels like an empty filler. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't always going to be the case.
Yeah, but that's it's not a good movie. But
I'm just saying, it's like whatever was going on behind the scenes with the third movie,
right,
and that had to bring Abrams back, even though he was fully committed to not coming back to the series.
They must have thrown so much money at him.
I mean, just I feel like the movie that was undermining expectations got undermined.
Yeah.
And we were thrown back into the same story with a lame ass twist.
Yeah. I think that's probably my biggest issue with that movie, is that I think that honestly Rian Johnson's tale just didn't belong in that, because at that point you have 8 of the 9 movies, which are all bombastic expectation movies. And then he tries to subvert it, by going a different direction, and it just doesn't work for the theme of the entire freaking series. So I feel like that story should be told. I just think it should be kind of like over here, like a Rogue One. Like we should have like a new version of Episode 8 or something. It just
but I mean, ultimately, it's the failing of the executives and Disney for not having a story in the first place.
Yeah. But if you've never seen the Star Wars movies, that would be my suggestion. Watch episodes 4 and 5. Then watch the prequels 1, 2, and 3, and then go back and watch the last one, which is Return of the Jedi, and that will give you the context you need to understand the Star Wars universe, the Skywalker saga, as it were, and that'll give you some pretty good idea of what's going on. But for me personally, I'm currently going on this marathon run that, I got to be honest, is pretty epic. I didn't know if it was going to work, because I felt like if we took too much time away from the movies, it may not land. But I've been really happy with how it's turned out. And for those who are curious about it, you can watch the movies this way. It actually works really well. But in the prequel series, there is an entire story about how one of the main characters becomes a bad guy. That's all I'm going to say. Again, I'm trying to be... actually, I could say it this way. Basically, it's how somebody goes from being a good guy to becoming the main bad guy in all of Star Wars, known as Darth Vader. Everybody knows what Darth Vader is. I don't think anybody's surprised that Darth Vader is called Darth Vader, so I don't think I'm giving anything away there. But so it's about how Darth Vader comes into being. And the problem with the original prequel trilogy is that in the first one, you meet him as a very young person. And you waste almost an entire movie that does not have the main actor who is going to play the character in the second and the third movie. So in the second movie, you see this character as a whiny adult, kind of like, I want to be a Jedi. And you're like, okay, we're going to get through this together. And you make it through the movie. And again, there's some really good stuff in these movies, but there's also some really bad stuff. And then it immediately jumps to the end of that person's story, the end of his story. You jump over this war that takes place over 3.5, almost 4 years, and you get to the end of it, and you watch him turn to the dark side. And it doesn't work as a movie series. So my thought was, what if you watched the Clone Wars, which is the actual cartoon series, and watch like the critical episodes, not the filler episodes, and try that out and see if it helps. And folks, I'm here to tell you, if you've never watched the Clone Wars at all, it works. Now I'm sorry.
I mean, ultimately the only, and I've said this before, like the redeeming factor for watching the prequel series is that you get to see the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And the Clone Wars is what carries from, or what prevents the sequel, the prequel series from becoming just hot garbage. It's hot garbage adjacent, but Clone Wars carries it.
Yeah, the thing that I've always said, and I think this is fair, and I mean, I know Brittney and I have talked about this in the past, which is when you're actually watching the prequels, I like to think of it as the highlight reel, because George Lucas is a great imagination man. I don't think anybody can sit here and say that George Lucas does not have just a stellar imagination. Problem is that man, he's an editor like, people need a hairstylist, right? Like if you're going on the air, you don't do your own hair. You let somebody get you looking good and on point, right? Like you try to make yourself look, So, if you got somebody saying, I'll do your hair for you, let them do your hair. He should have had a good editor, somebody to help produce this movie and keep him in check. He needed a no man, like he had yes men.
Oh, yeah.
He needed no men. Says, that's a little much, George. And it doesn't work. But what's interesting is that if you read the novelizations of those movies, they're fantastic. The novelizations work. And when you see him allow other people to play in his sandbox, like the Clone Wars, which was made under his roof, most of it was made when he still owned it, it works. So the ideas are good. He just needs other people to kind of come in and kind of be a filter for some of his thoughts, because he just needs that extra, refinement, basically. But if you've never watched them, I do have an episode reading list here. If you're curious, and I'll just kind of read these out loud. If you want me to post them somewhere, I can post them on the Pop Cycle, the Facebook page or something. But the way it works for this viewing order is you start with Phantom Menace, then you go to Attack of the Clones, which, by the way, Attack of the Clones is the worst of the prequels in the fact that it's just, you just have to go through it. Hayden Christensen is not a bad actor. Okay, if you've watched him in movies that are not Star Wars, he's actually really good. George Lucas is a bad director. he needs a filter, people.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a fact. I'm sorry, it really kind of is. But regardless, once you get to Clone War, Attack of the Clones, you can start the Clone Wars show. Now, you don't have to watch it, but I actually suggest watching Clone Wars the movie, because it does introduce Ahsoka Tano, which is the Padawan of one of the main characters. And then you can just kind of jump around. For me, I found that if you just jump over the first season altogether, you don't need it. You only need to watch 3 episodes in season 2, which is episodes 12, 13, and 14. In season 3, only 1 episode actually needs to be watched, which is episode 12. In season 4, the last 4 episodes, basically 19, 20, 21, and 22. In season 5, the first episode, and then episodes 14 through 20. In season 6, only the first 4 episodes are needed. And then when you get to season 7, this is the one where you almost want to watch the whole thing. The only episode I suggest not watching is episode 5. It's filler. You don't need it. It's complete garbage. Basically, Ahsoka goes down into the lower pits, meets 2 girls, and they decide they're going to be buddies. Nothing of value happens. The next episode, Ahsoka and those girls go off on an adventure, and that's fun. But the meeting episode is just like... They sum up in perfect detail that entire episode in a 2-second sentence. The guy basically sums up the whole episode like that. And you're like, okay.
Which girl is that?
What's up?
Which girl was that?
That was Rafa and what was her name? The 2 girls that lived in the lower parts of Coruscant, and they had the Silver Angel. Oh crap! Now you're gonna make me have to go look it up. Hold on.
Well, anyway, I mean,
while you do that,
well, I think a little bit more than what you already listed is more essential. I mean, I think Clone Wars. And someone made a really good point about it. It's really, for the most part, if you want to know about Ahsoka Tano, you have to watch all of the episodes that she's in, because Dave Filoni did, like, and you only realize this in hindsight, that he did an actual good job in building her character throughout the series. Sure. He intentionally made her fucking annoying. Oops, yep. That's mine.
That's your 2. You're done. You're out.
He intentionally made her annoying. He made her arrogant yet annoyingly right all the time. And that arrogance eventually in the series really bit back hard, and it cost lives, and it made her realize that she needs to stop being a little so-and-so,
right?
And she needs to grow up, and that doesn't happen until whatever season that people actually started to like her, because she started out in the series as the most hated character in Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, season 1 and season 2, she's almost unbearable. Like she's not great at all. She starts to become a much more likable character. And in this run, you're going to see Ahsoka grow up. By the way, the other sister's name is Trace. So it's Rafa and Trace.
Okay.
They're the Martinez sisters. With the Silver Angel was their ship, and they go to Kessel to pick up the spice.
I don't remember it. But anyway, it's like But
you like how Christina basically set me up for a question that she absolutely gave no F's about whatsoever. She was just like, I want to talk about Ahsoka. You could just ask to talk about Ahsoka.
I mean,
you have to give me homework.
I mean, I had to see if you actually had a list and if I would know any of them. But
I didn't know if episode names because we'd be here all day. So
yeah, but I mean, I have to. If you are a fan of The Mandalorian and you want to know why her appearance was such a big deal in that one episode, then you have to watch her episodes in the Clone Wars.
Right. And this is going to give you a pretty good idea. And the way I set this up is when you watch through it, like I said, if you watch season 7, which is the final season of the Clone Wars, watch everything except for episode 5 until you get to the end of season 10. Or episode 10, and you'll know the end of episode 10 because when you get to the end of it, it's where they basically retake Mandalore. And obviously Mandalore is a big deal when it comes to the Mandalorian. You'll also notice that at that point, the very last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars ever, they change how they do the intro. They become the classic Lucasfilm intro. Way back in the day when Lucasfilm would do any TV shows, they would put up this green text and it would say a Lucasfilm production. And then they would go into whatever the logo was. They did it for droids. They did it for the Ewok Adventures, all this stuff. So they did the old school Lucasfilm Presents, and then they went into a more Star Warsian version of their intro. It is very stark. You watch the first 2 of those episodes, stop, go watch Revenge of the Sith, because Revenge of the Sith has Order 66, which is the big moment where basically the Empire takes over. It's a huge moment. At this point, you've watched enough Clone Wars episodes. It's going to kick you in the freaking huevos. You're not going to be feeling happy at the end of that. And then you have to watch the last 2 episodes of Clone Wars, which is episodes 11 and 12. And I did not think it was going to hit me as hard as it did. It hurts to get to the end of Clone Wars now because
it's setting me up.
It's brutal. I mean, it is absolutely brutal. Mm-hmm. And of course, that's where Ahsoka disappears for a little while. But after that, you could then watch Solo, so you can have a almost comedy Star Wars movie. So you can have that.
Underrated, super underrated. It's a fun romp.
I enjoy Solo a lot. I showed it to our friend. We have a mutual friend, Donald, and I showed it to him. And he was like, I was expecting this to be horrible. It's great. And I was like, yeah, it's a really fun movie. I mean, everything about that movie, the actor they got to play, I can't remember his name, but the actor they got to play young Han is, don't you hate that where you forget like?
No, I mean, I know it, but it's very hard for me to pronounce it.
Right.
No, the problem is, okay, so a lot of people, I think we are all in agreement. We like Solo, but it got so much hate. But here's the thing, as much as people like it, nobody can ever remember the guy's name. It's Alden Ehrenreich. Alden. I could remember Alden, but no one ever remembers the guy's name, which therefore says something about if it's so good, you couldn't get a memorable actor to be. So I get people's point, but I don't think it deserves nearly as much hate as it got.
He was fantastic as Solo. I think he did a great job as Han. The actor is memorable. I just can't remember his damn name because it's the only
Eduardo.
Thing. You know, Eduardo.
That's my friend.
So Eduardo says he should have played Orson Welles and Fincher's Mank.
Ehrenreich, yeah.
Ehrenreich, is that how you say it? Which, by the way, Mank is over on Netflix. You can actually watch that. That was the what was that? It was
Come on.
Disney. He was a writer for Disney, wasn't it? Mankowitz.
I didn't think it was Disney. Yeah. Eduardo knows. He's gonna fill me in. I'm totally gonna watch it because you know what? Hi, Lady Pants.
How you doing? Do you want to say hey?
Hi.
Yeah, say hey. I don't know where your ear is at.
You don't know where my ear is at?
Well, not like I can't just feel it through the hair. So hey.
I love it. Yeah, I've been wanting to watch Mank because I mean, Gary Oldman, who is my old man crush, and I love him forever. And then also, you know, anything that's old Hollywood, I'm totally about it. So I love how because I watched Trumbo with Bryan Cranston, which was awesome, so good. But we'll have to talk about like that stuff later. We're on a Star Wars.
That's not Star Wars.
It's not Star Wars. We need Gary Oldman in a Star Wars movie.
One day, Gary Oldman in a Star Wars movie. He's gonna.
Wouldn't that be amazing? He'd have to be a villain.
Oh, he'd absolutely
Definitely.
be that, or it would have to be kind of like an old gruff, like a New Republic kind of like general who's just tired.
Speaking of villain,
what's up,
Giancarlo Esposito?
Hey, we're not there yet. We're not, but yes, absolutely,
fantastic
yes,
as a villain.
Yes.
Honestly,
and by the way,
go
ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I will say that in the modern series of movies, they've done phenomenally, and even TV shows, they've done a great job getting fantastic villains. It's hard to talk about it. It's a slight mild spoiler, but he shows up so much in so many different things. I don't think it's too much of a spoiler. But the fact that Darth Maul comes back and they get what's his name from Sam Witwicker. Sam Witwicker. What's his?
Is it Whittier?
Whittier.
What do you guys? Did you guys have a stroke?
Whoa! Some of us have.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Christina,
Brittney.
yeah, she did have a.
I'm sorry, Brittney. I did forget.
I forget.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's whatever. I just like to get
Whitwer. I can never say his last name. Yeah,
Sam Witwer.
Yeah, Sam
Witwer. You were
Witwer.
trying to say.
That's a great Darth Maul. Whoever has to I don't care who they get to be the body. He is the voice of Darth Maul now and forever. He's done so much Darth Maul work at this point. That man's set for life. He's basically James Earl Jones for Darth Maul. That's just the rule. Yeah, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, you're talking about that. Of course, you have in Rogue One, even though he's not playing a bad guy, Mads Mikkelsen is, of course, just absolutely amazing in it. And I forget the guy who plays that weird ass Moff, who's just a
Ben
jerk.
Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah. Wait, are you talking?
And then of course it's you have Vision. What's his name?
Paul Bettany.
Vision? You know me, I'm bad with names. Okay, I am horrible with names.
Wait, are you talking about Vision as in Marvel? Paul Bettany?
Paul Bettany. Yeah, Paul Bettany is the bad guy in Solo, of course. And he's freaking fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I'm telling you, they crush.
Tandy Newton. The only real true gripe that I have about Solo is that Tandy Newton wasn't in there enough.
True. Yeah.
You know what's something I like that they did with Tandy Newton though is they just let her decide what she wanted her hair to be instead of her always having to have the slick down kind of straightened out hair. They're like, hey, if you want to just kind of do something more natural, she's like, cool, and she just went full for it. And I'm like, rock that out,
Yeah.
I like that. I like that we're embracing, just more. It doesn't always have to be a certain way, I'm waiting for more Hispanic people to kind of show up in Star Wars. I like that in Mando, since we jumped ahead a little bit, when Bo-Katan shows back up, all of her fellow Mandalorians. Laura's gonna show. Oh, this is a Christmas present a friend of mine gave Laura. Hold on, it's coming in. He's floating in. The tiniest Grogu, the tiniest Grogu that we have so far.
Grogu. What's up, Grogurt? You're so adorable.
He died.
There you go.
Monster.
Gogurt down. Gogurt down.
In a bowl.
Yeah.
And his little gear shifter knob, but it's so small. The
dogs will choke on it.
It's in a little plastic box. It's so small.
Yeah. They're so tiny. This is what baby Grogu would look like, or baby Yoda
in scale
to a 3 3/4 action figure. So that's there you go. Isn't that cute as hell?
Très adorable.
Oh, there you go. Ooh.
You killed him.
I killed him. There you go. I caught him. It's okay. It's okay. He landed on me, and I was able to gently catch him.
You know what? There are plenty of parents who have dropped their kids, and it's fine. It's fine.
No, but what I was saying was that I'm waiting for more Hispanic people to kind of show up, and I like the fact that the Mandos that showed up next to Bo-Katan were people who were at least not just straight up white folks. Because one thing I noticed when I was watching Clone Wars is that all the Mandalorians were just straight up blonde, Aryan white people. I'm like, damn. It's just
it came in a little.
So here's the little. This is the little. If you guys can see that, if it'll focus there.
Oh wow, that is
so tiny.
We're gonna leave that in there.
It's in a special case.
Yeah,
it's so small.
So I like that. I like the fact that we're starting to embrace more of that in our science fiction. But yeah, Tandy Newton was freaking fantastic. When she finished her story, that's how I'll say it, in Solo, I was like, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
So, but then again, most of the people in Solo finished their story in a bummer of a way. There were very few characters who actually got out of that movie in a satisfactory fashion.
Wait, it's kind of like Rogue One.
Yeah.
How many?
Oh my god.
I'm evil and I love it.
What, baby?
He's half the size of a 3
He's half the size of a regular 3 3/4 Yoda. Nice. That's funny. But no, like I was saying though, I mean they've been doing a great job bringing in just these fantastic villains for the new series, and I've been a big fan of it. So I can't wait to see where they're going to go, because, like you said, Giancarlo Esposito is just like, seriously. As soon as you see him, if you've seen him in anything in the last 10 or 15 years, he's like the bad guy. Like, like literally, if he shows up, your protagonist is about to have one crappy season. Like it's just that's in his contract now, right? Like, if I show up, you're gonna have to go.
And he delights in it. He's so good.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. But, so I love it.
But yeah, I love the diversity in Mandalorian, because the only other diverse Star Wars we had was Rogue One.
Right, because we got Diego Luna, who we're gonna get more of anyway. As Eduardo is sweet enough to point out, Diego Luna is.
Absolutely.
You know what though? But again, he was good, but didn't care.
Maybe he'll care in this one. Maybe he'll care on this one.
I'm gonna rewatch Rogue One. I'm gonna try to give it another go to support my ethnic brethren and sistren.
Because I mean, seriously, I'm Puerto Rican. We don't got a lot, right? So whenever we see somebody who's Hispanic on screen or Latino, we're like, do it, So
how do you think I feel as being a Filipino? Every time I just see Eugene Cordero, I was like, oh, it's that guy.
Oh my god. So wait, hold on. So we're going to jump over to Mando for a second here again, because I remember, so about a year ago, Christina was feeling bad. She was like, man, I don't have anything to watch. I want to watch something that's really going to make me laugh. And there's not enough cool Asian stuff out there. I need some more Asian stuff.
And
I said,
I was about to say, Appa.
Yeah, and I said, have you seen Kim's Convenience? She's like, what's this? I was like, it's Canadian. It's kind of like Letterkenny, except it's about a Korean family who has a little corner store. And I was like, you've got to watch it. It's amazing. And so she was like, I don't know. I was like, trust me. And so she watched it. She loved it. And the main guy is Appa, the dad. And Appa is one of the X-Wing pilots. He of that fine Den on that ice planet. Yeah, Mando on that ice planet.
Oh, okay.
So he shows up. So whenever we see him now, we're like, opposite Star Wars. Because he is not a guy that you would imagine in Star Wars if you've watched Kim's Convenience at all.
I have not.
Kim, it's on Netflix, and it also stars Simu Liu, who is going to be the next Shang-Chi. Is that his name?
Shang-Chi, yeah.
Oh yeah, Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Master of Kung Fu is what he is. Shang-Chi,
yeah,
Master of Kung Fu.
But he's gonna be the lead role. So, you got two actors in that series already getting that Disney money. But
man, if you can get into that Disney money, don't mess that up.
Seriously, like Appa's gonna have like freaking action figure money now, because they're gonna make an action figure out of him, right? And he's gonna have action figure money. I mean that's the dream. You get to
and if Cara Dune gets her own series, we'll probably see more of him in that.
Yeah, and more than likely, it looks like that's what the Star Wars the Tale of the New Republic Rangers is going to be about. That's her spinoff. And Lord knows that actress right now, she's going through her own.
She did act right. So
I am excited about all the things that are coming Star Wars. Like when they dropped all those different, I expected like one or two things. I did not expect a plethora. Yeah.
It was a lot.
So I do like that they're going for like these kind of like maybe one-offs TV shows because you can tell more story that way rather than be like a 2.5 hour movie. And that's probably where they're going to go the same way that Star Trek has been going because look how well it did for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Star Trek, we've been getting nonstop Star Trek all year.
Yeah, since like I think it was June or July, it's been something like 28 weeks straight.
Wow.
Yeah, basically they went from the lower decks and they went straight into Discovery season 3, and they have not missed a week. And I think they have episodes until the end of the year.
No, I mean we had Picard first. Don't forget.
Yeah, but then there was a gap. There was a gap of about a month or two.
Oh, there was.
Before they. Yeah, Picard wasn't before that. I believe.
Oh, you know what? Because I was late to the game and was catching up, and so for me, it went straight into lower decks.
Yeah.
And now Discovery, and I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, from what I remember, let's see here. From what I remember, it was going to be. Yeah, it was lower decks that started like in August. They went through like the 12 weeks they had with that, and then they jumped right into Discovery. It's been pretty awesome. I've been pretty happy with it. All things said, I am very happy with how they're doing that, and I like that Disney's embracing that idea of let's try to keep something going like every week. Because I mean, hell. There was a time where we loved showing up and having appointment TV, and then we got away from it because we were binging everything. And you got to be honest, between Disney and a couple other places, they've kind of proven that, appointment TV is kind of fun to do if you do it right.
Yeah.
That's the caveat.
The Boys was doing it this year. Star Trek has been doing it all year. Mandalorian's been doing it. So I think, we've been able to stretch out this year because it's just been so painful. Honestly. So awful.
Oh God.
And we have stuff to look for to get just even a little bit of serotonin in our bodies, just to make us a little happy and distracted. But,
and then every once in a while, you go over to Netflix and Netflix just drops a whole season of something that you got to watch, like, Umbrella Academy, and you're like, yes. And
so we binge. Of course, that is how we mainly absorb media now. But it's a nice little break to where we don't gorge ourselves. We take little bites every week, and that sustains us until the next thing.
No, it really does.
I don't know. I like that. It kind of hurt my feelings that we have to do the weekly. I like when they drop a whole season and I can just binge through that sucker. But having to wait.
Well, what's killing me right now is I watched the first episode of The Stand today, and I am mad that I have to wait another week.
That's what I'm talking about.
Normally, I'm like, okay, fine, but I want all of The Stand right the hell now. I personally thought they were going to be 2 hours long a piece, so I thought we were going to get
Are they
5
not?
episodes. No, they're hour-long episodes. They're right at 59 minutes.
All right, guys, I gotta go. As soon as we're done, I'm watching it. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's but I'm sorry, go ahead, Christina.
Yeah, but the thing about Mandalorian that they have introduced is they make and other shows aren't doing it right now, but maybe they'll consider it. But the Mandalorian, they do however long episodes that they need to tell a story. An effective story, and it's it was weird at first, but then I'm into it.
Yeah, if the episode is only 30 minutes long, then it's a 30-minute long episode. If it needs 45 minutes, then it's going to be a 45-minute long episode.
Mm-hmm. One was an hour. I think last year the finale was a full hour.
51 minutes or something like that. Yeah, it was pretty long. It just depends on what they're doing, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the idea of tell the story the way it needs to be told, and don't feel like you have to cut, don't feel like you have to pad, because you can feel it. Right now, Disney, they just took a shot in the dark with Mando, and they hit bank on it. So right now, they're telling Filoni and Iron Man. Homie.
Kevin Feige.
John Favreau. No, John Favreau.
Oh, John Favreau. Who?
Tell me John Favreau.
Feige is still Marvel.
Yeah, Feige's still Marvel.
Marvel.
No,
I was like, where are you going?
I don't know.
Favreau and Filoni pretty much have, carte blanche to, hey, we need to make this episode, 38 minutes long. Okay, next episode is only 29 minutes. All right, Disney's just kind of rolling with it. So, and I hope that the only thing that concerns me a bit is just kind of like what happened with the DCW. Will they stretch themselves too thin creatively? Because let's talk about all the things that are coming to Star Wars over the next couple of years. So this is just kind of from the announcements that we got. We have the new TV show, Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is bringing Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan. Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, we kind of needed that, though. We've been asking for that since day one.
Yep, that starts filming very early in Boston in 2021, which I'm like, Boston? Okay.
Weird.
Boston.
Right, so I'm like, they're going to have Bostonians in Tatooine, I guess.
Well,
but, hey,
you know what? We've already have the mass holes with Bill Burr.
Oh my God! We gotta go back to Bill Burr. The fact that the Bill Burr, he's Bill Burr in Star Wars, and I'm like, yeah, I'm here for it. Like, it's crazy. But Ahsoka is getting her own spinoff. Rosario Dawson is getting her own spinoff in the Mando era, so it's not going to be a prequel. It's going to be concurrent with Mando. Rangers of the New Republic is going to be the new show, which they're assuming is where Cara Dune is going to go. The Cassian Andor series is going to be coming out, and that'll be a prequel series, obviously, to Rogue One because, well, Rogue One.
Yeah.
The Bad Batch, which was one of the great standout moments of season 7. And if you haven't seen it yet, Brittany, the cool part about season 7 is they have this storyline where basically there are clones who, when they bring out the clones, every once in a while, one clone will be really good at one thing, but they'll have a drawback to another thing. So one will have exceptional eyesight, but his body's really frail. Or one's like super strong, but he's kind of dumb. And so they put them all together and they've become a special ops team. They're called the Bad Batch. And so that's their team.
Yeah,
so they have
I'm down for that.
They have a really cool storyline at the beginning of season 7 of Clone Wars, and people loved them so much they're getting their own spinoff.
Yeah,
so that's going to be cool to see, and I hope that if we're lucky, they'll even do the Bad Batch post Clone Wars, because from what we understand, some of the clones still are commissioned in the early days of the Empire. So that'll be cool to see. This is a weird one. Visions is coming out, which is basically they're going to be animated shorts from anime studios. Most of it's going to be Japanese animation studios doing their take on Star Wars. Kind of like how Matrix did the Animatrix. They're kind of doing that kind of vibe. So I'm interested to see how that one turns out.
We got a little taste of that one. Yeah, we got a little taste of that when they did commercial breaks. Or during like their commercial breaks, they did animated Star Wars, and it was really good. And so I don't blame them for that. I would watch I would watch more.
I would too. Now the next one, and I have no idea when it's taking place, if they're bringing back the actor for it, or if they're going for the younger actor. But we're going to have a Lando series, and I don't know if it's going to be oh my God, my brain is blanking on Donald Glover, or
you don't know if it's going to be Donald Glover or Billy D. Williams.
I'm going Colt 45 in my head. I'm like, stop it.
God.
Billy D. Williams, Donald Glover.
So I'm sitting there going like, okay, is it Donald Glover? Or is it going to be Billy D? And I'm like, I don't remember.
I always thought it was going to be Donald Glover because I do remember him saying something about he still wants to revisit that character, and Disney may or may not let him.
I'm sure that's true, but I'm sure if somebody said, "Hey, Billy D, if we paid you a lot of money, would you want to be Lando again?" He's like, "Hell yeah!" So, yeah. I mean, I think you could ask either actor on that one, and honestly, there is a story to be told there of what happens to Lando after Episode 9 when he finds out when Finn finds out that there's an entire batch of clones out there. Or not clones, but a whole batch of stormtroopers who all come from the same region of space, and they're all spread out. And so Billy D's like, let's go find them. So you have basically the stormtroopers who didn't take the programming, and so they're going to try to go find them. So I'm like,
yeah, and that whole daughter thing that came out of left field needs to be reconciled somehow.
Yeah.
So
I think it would be possible to have both of them, honestly, if they want to do flashback or flash forward. Well, it would be flashback. But like if they wanted to, like if they wanted to mostly focus on Glover, like younger Lando, obviously Donald would be the star, but then, it could be told, and then Billy D could be a cameo. So maybe it's him telling the story, like the first, like a few episodes, it'd be him telling a story. So you would see him, but you don't get a lot of them. And then it flashes back and you get a ton of Donald Glover.
Or it can be an anthology series between both timelines.
It could be.
Like you get one season of Donald Glover. I mean, you get one season of Donald Glover or something like that, and you get another season of Billy D. Williams, and
I mean,
they can be standalones.
In years, Billy D's in his mid-70s now, I think.
Probably.
Let's see.
I'm like, hold on, I'll say right now.
Oh my God, he's 83. Okay,
Whoa.
So look, black don't crack. Okay, black don't.
I was about to say, like, how is he 80? He doesn't even look it.
Close to 80. Like, we're close to 83.
I love it.
But so one thing that you have to keep in mind is that I knew that he was getting up there in years, so maybe he can't do like a bunch of action sequences as much. But there was a great concept I heard years ago from Kevin Smith about a Batman show, which is do the story of young Bruce Wayne. And basically have it be an anthology series where basically Bruce is learning how to become the Batman as he's kind of, from like his teenage years into adulthood. But at the end of every episode, have that tie into a macro storyline where you see Batman solving a crime. And so like these little Easter eggs that are left behind from his childhood are then tying back into a macro story. You could have Billy D with Finn and with the rest of the stormtroopers and the rebels that he's taken with him to hunt down this whole clan of people, or I'm sorry, not to hunt down, but to find this clan of people. And they could then have flashbacks, and then you could have, of course, Donald Glover, and these little tales then inform where they're going in the future. That could be a cool twist.
I mean, isn't that what I just said?
Yeah, but that's what I was saying.
And didn't Indiana Jones already do it?
Yes, which is why we know it works.
I like how we have high-pitched voices for this.
Yes, but again, who cares as long as we get something out of that? Because Lando is one of those characters that they've never dove into. And how can you, Lando is smooth as silk in the original trilogy. But then Donald Glover comes up, and I was like, okay, Donald Glover's going to do an amazing job. And then he crushed the job that I thought he was already going to do. I mean, I was
he is the best part of Solo.
My expectation was here, and like he just crushed it up here. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, he's
and
like smooth like butter.
So good. It was so much fun in that damn movie. So yeah, any way that you can get them, especially if you can find a way to do both, I'm all for it. Let's see, what else do we have here? We are going to get a spin-off movie. It's an animated movie, a droid story. Which I'm looking forward to because it's going to be a C-3PO R2-D2 story. And they haven't done something like that since the 80s with the old animated series Droids. And I'm okay with that. And then the last thing that they announced that I know we have, and it actually brought me to tears when I saw the little just teaser trailer for it, because it's my favorite book series of Star Wars, was when Patty Jenkins was talking about her dad. And how he was a pilot, and how he basically died flying his plane, and how she's always been looking for that one project that would be able to talk about how amazing it is to be a pilot, and also have the energy and scope that she's looking for. And she says, now I found a script, and it also combines all my other things. And she puts on the X-Wing helmet. And I'm just like,
like, Rogue Squadron.
And she goes, I'll see you in Rogue Squadron. And I'm just like, she's gonna do Rogue Squadron. And I lost it. Because I love Rogue Squadron so hard. That is one of my favorite book series. So good.
I mean, I loved all the announcements.
Yeah.
But come on, Disney. Bring back Tag and Bink, you cowards.
Okay. So for those who don't know, Tag and Bink was actually a Dark Horse series that it's only like 4 comic books. It's only like literally like 4 issues. And it was originally written by the guy who did this short film. It was a fan film called Troops. and it was meant to be a spoof of cops. And so basically it's a bunch of stormtroopers on Tatooine who are just trying to be cops in their day-to-day life, right? So you have like drunken Jawas and like a messed up sandcrawler going over people's houses and stuff, and they got to write a ticket out to the Jawas, and then there's like, drunk people trying to do a shootout in the middle of the city, and they're like, stop trying to shoot each other. And frequently what happens is on many of the missions, the stormtroopers keep incidentally catching people on fire and getting them killed by firing. So that's like the joke of the fact that when you get to the scene in A New Hope, when Luke's aunt and uncle are dead and they're on fire, it's because the stormtroopers are so bad at their job, they just keep accidentally setting people on fire. So they do this as a just a fun fan film, and Disney said, hey, would you like to do a comedy version of this as a comic? And they said, yeah. So they do something called Tag and Bink, and Tag and Bink are two stormtroopers who stumble their way through the original trilogy and are the most important part of the entire show, but you never know about them. And they unfortunately die at the end of Return of the Jedi, and then they show up as Force ghosts, and they're like, what? And they do a prequel series, and you find out that at one point they were younglings in the temple, and Anakin was trying to kill them, and they got away, and they basically hid out in the Empire because they didn't know where else to go. It's hilarious. It's completely ridiculous. It is 150% tongue-in-cheek. And if you... There's even a gag where they talk about Lando and how he gets his promotion to general, and he says, oh, well, they must have heard about my maneuver at the Battle of Tanab. Well, the Battle of Tanab actually is something that Tag and Bink did, and Lando took credit for it. And the reason why they let him keep getting away with it is that every time they need a favor from him, all they have to say is Battle of Tanab, and he'll give them whatever they want. So, like, and it's so funny. Like, they'll show up like, hey, I need a starship. I'm not going to give you a starship. And literally, they'll just go Battle of Tanab. And he's like, give him a damn starship. Because that's like his claim to fame. So if you've never read it, there's a graphic novel you can pick up. I think it's called Tag and Bink Was Here, I think is the name of the graphic novel.
Maybe.
I think it's like right over there. I could literally go.
Google is your friend, or walk over there and check.
Tag and Bink Was Here.
Yeah, Tag and Bink were here.
I was like,
was here.
It was either was or were. So.
I'm down for all. I'm just here for all the Star Wars. I mean, for me, like, I haven't seen. I've been meaning to watch. Look, there's a lot on my list, right, of things to watch, and I've been meaning to watch Clone Wars and Rebels, and I have not. But that has changed because I just started the Clone Wars movie tonight. I'm not done with it. I'm almost done. I had to stop and do this.
Basically, you have to get through. I'll tell you, it's the worst part of the entire Clone Wars you have to watch. But it introduces
good.
Ahsoka.
Oh my god, I'm so glad I can be honest about it now. It's not great. Okay, see, nobody. I mean, I have a lot of friends who absolutely like, you need to do Clone Wars, and I know they're talking about the series. This movie, y'all. Let me go real Southern for y'all. What? It is not. It's a struggle. I was on struggle bus.
I can't sit through that movie. I always sleep through it.
Yeah, I got 15,
20 minutes left. I got 15 minutes left of it, and I'm just like,
Zero the Hutt, the gay Hutt. He's hilarious. I love Zero. Zero cracks my ass up, but that's the only redeemable part of that entire movie.
Wait, what? Did I miss him? What?
Maybe he's like in the beginning of the episode, isn't he?
No,
near the end. They got the course not yet, and they have the movie. You got to get to it because he's the purple Hutt with the yellow face paint on him.
I haven't seen him. They have the baby, and baby Hutt is sick, and they're trying. They're almost there.
Brittany, I saw this movie in theaters, and I was like, what garbage did I just sit through?
By the way, I was going to show you. This is the cover for Tag and Bink. So if anybody wants to, you guys can actually see that it's now part of the Legends title. But yeah, so there's Tag and Bink, and that pretty much sums up their entire life. Is they're always doing something, and they get caught by somebody of authority.
Yeah, well, they're like, there's this kind of like little fan theory that Tag and Bink made like an uncredited appearance, and they were the two stormtroopers who had Baby Yoda in the season finale of the first season.
Well, no, they can't because they died on the Death Star.
Jason Sudeikis and Adam Pally were those guys, and like he one of them hit Baby Yoda. I think it was Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah,
and it was like, how awesome would that be if they were really Tag and Bink?
Yeah, they're definitely not Tag and Bink because Tag and Bink unfortunately died on the Death Star too. When Emperor Palpatine dies, they die too.
Why are you killing our dreams?
That's you know what? That's old canon.
But wait, hold on. But the reason why that works is because they're the two stormtroopers on the first Death Star when Obi-Wan has to turn off the tractor beam, the deflector shield tractor beam. And they're the two guys who are having that really random conversation about, hey, have you seen the new T840, T841 or whatever? And they go, yeah, it sounds like something that you should see. That's Tag and Bink. So that's how he came up with the idea, was that conversation is so stupid in the first Star Wars. These two stormtroopers are just, they're talking, they're trying to make it sound like they're talking about cars. And it just sounds weird. And the point is that they're trying to sound like they're supposed to be there. Like, well, we're stand here, right? And then basically right after that, they say, screw this, we're not going to be here anymore. We're going to go and get into TIE fighter pilot outfits because nobody ever messes with the TIE fighter pilots. And then as soon as they do that, who shows up? Darth Vader says, come with me, we're going to go outside. So they're the two assholes who are riding shotgun with Vader at the end of A New Hope, trying to fight off Luke Skywalker. It's hilarious. But yes, Tag and Bink are fantastic.
Nah, they somehow got out of it in the new canon.
They would never hit Baby Grogu. They are not that malicious.
Yes,
they are not.
Would. Yes,
they are not that malicious. No, they are not. Reread the book.
New canon. New canon.
You can't new canon Tag and Bink and ignore Tag and Bink.
I just want Tag and Bink to be alive and Taika Waititi can direct their movie.
Ooh.
I mean, that would be funny. And, Taika Waititi is working on something right now. He is actually has an uncredited or an undefined movie in progress. Oh, by the way, Brittany, here's who you're looking for. Hold on. Let me, I'm going to pull something for you. Yeah, I'm going to show you Zero the Hutt here. So when you get to Zero's hilarious. So that's Zero the Hutt. Gay as the day is long and hilarious. I love this guy. He talks in like a southern kind of Louisiana accent. It is
He's like the most fabulous Hutt you'll ever meet.
He is. I love him to death. I love Zero. Zero is one of my favorite characters. So,
wow.
Yeah,
but the movie is still awful. But you kind of have to see it just so you can see that Ahsoka is being introduced into the series.
Yeah, but as soon as you get past that, boom, you're off to the races. Just follow the watch list. Skip over all of season 1. There is nothing in season 1 that you need.
I can't do it. I can't do that. I'm gonna have to watch them all. They're not that long.
She's a masochist. She's gonna
completionist and masochist.
When I get text messages from you saying, "Oh my God, this is horseshit," I want to remind you that you chose this life. Okay,
I'm just completionist. I need the filler. I need the fluff because it helps me bond more with the characters. I need it.
She didn't choose the life chose her.
Okay, these are things that you are going to encounter. Jar Jar at one point will be mistaken for a Jedi Knight. You will have a 4-episode Mace Windu series that will do absolutely nothing because they forgot they had Mace freaking Windu in the damn show. You're going to have numerous encounters with what you think are going to be interesting esoteric force philosophies that basically go, yeah, we're not going to explore that because we basically give up the ghost. You're going to have about 16 false leads where people almost find out that Palpatine's the Emperor, but it never actually happens. You're going to get frustrated a lot if you watch every episode.
So what you're telling me is it's going to be like a lot of television shows where they try to keep it going. So there's lots of red herrings and that's fine. I'm sure. Wait, Christina, did you watch them all? Do you recommend watching them all, or are you down with Shaun's list?
Well, I think Shaun's list leaves out a little bit too much, but because
there are some really annoying Ahsoka episodes that you just don't need. Like I just let her grow up pretty quick. I'm like, I don't need to see Ahsoka be a pain in the ass for like 6 episodes.
I mean,
but I got it. The movie gives you enough.
I admit that I, came in and out of that show for a while, and because it just didn't grab onto me as they aired. as quickly until people were saying, "Oh, it's good now." So I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll watch it, but I'll skip all those other episodes and watch them later." But but you know me, I'm not a completionist. I do whatever the hell I want. So,
but when you were you late to the game, or did you watch it as it came out?
I started watching them as they came out. It didn't grab onto me. And then the times Cartoon Network was really messing with their schedule. So it was hard to follow. It was like they literally made it hard to follow, and then and then Toonami picked it up to show the rest of the series. So for me, I caught it when I could, and I liked what I saw. So, and then when I finally caught on to, you know, how Cartoon Network was going to air them at the time, I did watch them, and they were mostly, for the most part, really good, especially after season 4. Season 4 is when it just was good all the time.
Yeah, the last half of season 4 is where it really kicks in. And that's not to say that the first half of season 4 isn't good. But once you get to the latter half of season 4, it really becomes, okay, I got to watch everything. Yeah. Season 1 is basically, the thing was, and I get the idea that they were trying to do with Clone Wars, which is every episode is self-contained. So the thing that you're going to find out, Brittany, is as soon as you start the first episode of season 1, it does like a newsreel kind of thing, like they would do back in World War II days. So if there's this guy who goes, up on the front, there are people now trying to fight. Blah, blah, and it's a very kind of like newsreeling kind of thing. And they give you all the information you need right there in about 30, 40 seconds, and they jump right into the episode. And the idea is that you could watch these in any real order. Well, that's kind of the problem, is that you don't really understand when things are taking place. And they even admit that if you watch the episodes as they're presented, you're technically jumping back and forth in time. You're not actually watching this linearly, like the first day of the Clone Wars to the end of the Clone Wars. The first 2 or 3 seasons, you're kind of just jumping around in space and time. So it doesn't really glob together that well. But once you get to the latter part of season 4, they realize we have to tell a linear story. We have to at least kind of keep ourselves moving this way, because they were kind of drowning at one point, ratings wise. They were not firing off the way they wanted to. And the thing that they realized was the stuff that was more linear, the multi-episode arcs, was what people were showing up for. And there's a really interesting story about Cad Bane in season 2, and he's just this bounty hunter they show up with. He has a big freaking, like, you know, cowboy hat, and you know, he's a gunslinger, and he's a cool character, completely superfluous to anything important of the plot. But people like that because it was like 4 or 5 episodes where you had Cad Bane. You're like, oh, okay, I'm here now. So they started to apply that in like season 4. They're like, well, let's start to tell more kind of like stories.
Oh, I remember early in the series, Grievous was actually cool.
Yeah, Grievous shows up all the time.
Really?
But yeah, a lot of love. Considering he's one of the Clone War majors, he doesn't get a lot of love.
Right.
Dooku doesn't get a lot of love. They focus a lot of their time on on Asajj Ventress, which is completely
Ventress is, yeah.
So you get a lot of.
I liked her character later on in the series.
Right, but the problem with Ventress is that at the end of season 5, they have this moment where she has kind of like a detente with Ahsoka. And they're kind of on like good terms with each other, and then she just vanishes. To this day, we have never gotten a resolution to what happens to Asajj Ventress. She's not in season 6.
She has her own book. You kind of find out what you have after that, but you have to read it.
But at the same time, books aren't canon. Books, even in the new Disney canon, they're not considered canon unless they're on a show or they're in a movie. They're considered canon until.
No, they're for the most part canon. No, You had no. I mean, you had to.
Look, I made
no. I'm speaking now. No, just kidding.
Are you? Are you speaking now? Because we can't hear you. Because I have the control.
He is a madman. Jesus.
Mad with power. The dark side.
Mad with power. Anyway, like, so there was this mention in Mandalorian about Operation Cinder. You don't really know what Operation Cinder is until like one of the Chuck Wendig books. I can't remember what they are, but it's one of those. But you don't really know what Operation Cinder is until you read one of his books. And then
or you
only
too.
Huh?
Played Star Wars
You're in the middle of it, but you don't get the details of what Operation Cinder actually is. You're just in the shit.
Mm-hmm.
I played that game too, Shaun.
No, I'm just sitting here going like,
I didn't know what was going on until someone told me the details of the book of what was happening.
Yeah, but the problem I have right now, and this is the problem I have with how everybody treats their chronology with this, is that they don't pay attention to the books. Lucas was infamous for only taking what he liked, and then he would drop everything else.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff from the books that actually made it into the movies. The name Coruscant, the name of the freaking planet of planets in Star Wars, comes from the novels. Grand Admiral Thrawn is from the novels. But there are other things that they ignore. And that's the problem, is that Disney has even said, this is the new chronology. Everything counts. Yeah, that's what they said in Lucasfilm until it doesn't. And that's what I'm waiting for, which is why I'm not invested in this new series of books. I invested 20 years of my life into the novels for Star Wars. I love them. I still got them. I'm a huge fan of them. And they are near and dear to my heart. And then they said, yeah, that doesn't count anymore. We're now going to bring in a whole new continuity. Like, okay. And it counts. And so in the back of my head, I keep going, yeah, until. And they're going to have to prove me wrong. They're going to have to actually say, if you want to know more about this story, you're going to have to go and read this book, because we're never going to do a movie about it. Like the Wachowskis. The Wachowskis, everything Matrix that they've ever done is considered canonical. The comic books are canonical. All of their reference guides, the DVDs, the Animatrixes, and even the Enter the Matrix video game and the Matrix MMORPG that they did.
They did an MMORPG?
They did an MMORPG way back in the day. Google it. It's messed up. There are storylines in there that are considered canonical. And there apparently the Wachowskis actually reference a couple of those things in the upcoming Matrix 4. Who knew? So they go full balls to the wall. Everything counts. But most of the time, folks don't do that. They go with, well, we don't need to include that. And they just chuck it out the window. So for me, if it's not on a movie or a TV show, I'm kind of like, it doesn't count. Like, because I've been betrayed before. they let me down, so I don't want to open up my heart. I don't want to get hurt again.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know what? Well, you'll learn to love again. And
I know.
When you do.
It's like, I've read a couple of Chuck Wendig Star Wars books, and they're good, but I'm like, this don't count. Like, I'm waiting for it to just not count. Like, I'm waiting for them to say, oh, well, we could do that, but we're going to be hamstrung by the novelization, and we don't want to do that. So they're going to toss out X, Y, Z. And I'm just
right.
Yeah. I'm salty old man about it right now, I guess.
You are.
We can see that.
Man.
I'm okay with that, though.
That's
I'm
cool.
okay with being salty about it. Like, like I said, I followed that Star Wars chronology since I was 16, and then they just chucked it out the window. So
yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
So as of right now, though, the books are canon.
Right. Until.
If you want, I mean, at this point, again, you're still going to have to, if you want a quick background check of what's going on in the universe, you might have to still do a wiki. But, because it's gotten to that point now, because there are already so many books.
Yeah.
And I've only read like 2 of them.
Yeah, I'm of the mind of people can just make references. You go, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if they'll ever cover that. Oh, we did in the novelization. Do I care that much? Or maybe will they handle that in a future TV show? They've got 10 of them coming. They might, so it's not like they don't have 10 TV shows rolling onto the freaking tarmac. So you never quite know. But with that said, if you haven't gone and watched Clone Wars, the cartoon, definitely check that out. And then, of course, there's also the Rebels cartoon that is really good.
Rebels is really good.
But we're going to take a moment here, just to facilities, get water and whatnot. So everybody just kind of pause, time out. Christina, tell them more about Operation Cinder. If anybody needs to go restroom or anything, go restroom real quick. We'll be right back, and then we're going to wrap up here in just a couple minutes. Okay? So Christina, you're up. Hold on. Well, we're even going to put Christina full screen. Here we go.
What? The only thing I know about Operation Cinder,
we'll be right back. I'm just going to get some water. So just tell me.
The only thing I know about Operation Cinder is that Palpatine had, after his death, he had a policy, like burn the earth policy. Basically, he targeted several colonies and planets and just burned them all. That's basically it. Like everyone got caught in the fire, and what was it? Oh, scorch the earth policy. Yeah. That's all I know about it. Something about
Brittney will be back in just a second.
Yeah, there's something about oh, what's her name? And I hope she appears in some like these the future shows. And there is this one captain. She shows up in Rebels, I think.
Oh, you're talking about right hand lady.
Maybe because she had her own ship. She had her own command, apart from Thrawn.
Right.
Oh no, she wasn't. No, she wasn't in any of the series. She was in the video game of Fallen Order.
Oh, was she? Okay.
Yeah. She is the equivalent to Thrawn, basically, but she may not be as good of a tactician as he is, but she is.
I mean, who is? I mean, Thrawn's Thrawn. So.
Yeah. But I can't remember. Sloane. Admiral Sloane.
Okay.
She's in the Fallen Order. She makes an appearance there. And she, for the longest time, she was kind of like heading up Operation Cinder, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you're really all about Operation Cinder, aren't you?
No, but I'm just saying, like there are
you want to hang out with Bill Burr and you want to know more about his Operation Cinder experience. That's all. It's okay. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, oh, that's a thing from the books that I know about. It's like, oh, right. There are information in books that haven't been explored in the series yet. So,
right.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. Yeah. I used to love all that. I used to love having all that little insider knowledge of it. And like, oh, this is great. And I just, one day.
I haven't finished Fallen Order. I barely started.
Yeah. Fallen Order for me, I got so mad at that game. That game was so punishing.
You were having a hard time fighting a frog.
Brittney, I don't know if you've seen this game. This game, Star Wars Fallen Order, it came out about a year and a half ago. About a year and a half ago. And I played it last Christmas actually, and I was playing through it, and I got stomped so hard. And I got near the end of the game. I went through it and I was playing it, and I got near the end of the game, and then I found out that this game is mimicking the Dark Souls playstyle. And one thing I've always hated about Star Wars games in general is that they're extraordinarily difficult for the most part. Like
you don't like it to be challenging.
Like even back in the 80s and 90s, like the stuff that they wanted you to do was like impossible. It felt like you could never do it, and it took me out of it. Like for me, I'm a person where I want it to be hard, but I don't want it to be so hard that I feel like I'm being punished for enjoying your world. And that's kind of what it felt like. And so I was playing Fallen Order and I was like, I can't get through this. So I Googled, are there any like story penalties for putting this on super easy mode? And sure enough, there was not. And I dropped that bitch to, I'm a Padawan, please don't skin my knee. And I had a great time. It was wonderful. Oh, by the way, Christina, you're still muted. But I was just having a wonderful time not getting killed every 3 seconds. And I finished the game and I was like, great. And I finished it and I got the story and I was like, I'm good. And I realized something about myself that day. I like to play video games because I like to feel like I am having fun. I don't like to be punished. And apparently that's the Dark Souls method of playing games these days.
Yeah.
That life.
Yeah. Very much for the masochist gamers.
Yeah. But you know, like at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I like playing games on hard difficulties. It can't feel like it's meant to punish me. Like when we were playing, the one example that I always go to, and Christina knows this because she watched me do it for half a year because I was so pissed off at this damn game, but I love the world, was Alien Isolation. I was damn. I was going to let Alien Isolation beat me. And I don't know if you've ever heard this story, Brittney, but I played through like 60, 70% of that game, not realizing I had 1% life.
Yeah. So he was on hard and then he inadvertently made it survival mode.
Yikes.
So what had happened was I had gotten shot and then an alien ran past me and it knocked my little health bar down to 1 point. And because of the way they have their HUD, it doesn't just say life bar. It doesn't have like a 100% and 0. It's like this little tiny bar.
Piece of line. Like, like on the left-hand corner of your screen. You don't even notice. Like I didn't even notice until our friend Matt was watching with us.
Right.
And you need to heal yourself, right? And we were just like, what?
Yeah. Like, you gotta heal. And I was like, what do you mean I gotta heal? He's like, dude, you're at like no life. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I have like 5 health packs. If I need healing, I can heal. And he was like, well, why don't you try it and prove me wrong? And I was like, all right. And son of a bitch, I needed to heal. So all of a sudden, I was playing on hard mode. And all of a sudden, this game was super easy for me. So I blew through the end of this game. Like, I mean, I crushed the end of this game. And incidentally, because of this, I went back and I played it on, I forget what they call their insane mode, but it's basically insane mode where like it is the hardest version. Yeah, it's punishing. We're just going to put like sharp things into all of your appendages mode.
Jesus.
And right, and I played it and it wasn't that hard for me. And what I had realized was that 6 or 7 months of me playing with only 1% life, I had to learn how to sneak around so well that I had inadvertently just gamed the game. So when I finally played it, knowing with the health and stuff, I was just blasting through all of it. I was like, man, this is easy.
Yeah, you did get through it a lot faster the second time.
Way faster. I'll never do it again. Learning how to play a game that way, like Alien Isolation, will be the game that'll be my claim to fame. But I'll never do that again because it was
again. Thank you to the devs.
Yes.
Who gave us that game.
Alien
We'll
Isolation.
Always treasure it.
Oh, that game
Creative
is
Assembly. It was the one free game we got from a major dev.
Oh, so good. I hope one day we get a sequel, but I'm not holding out any hope for that.
I'm not. Actually, we are kind of getting a bit of a loose sequel.
Well, I know we have the audio
it's book. A mobile game though, which sucks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we have the audiobook that does the next part of her story.
Oh, really? Yeah. I need to listen to that.
Yeah, if you haven't, we're out of Star Wars now, folks. We're talking about Alien, which also
we're in space.
Yeah, we're in space. But you know what's funny? Alien is actually another Christmas time movie that I watch. I actually watch Alien around Christmas time. Well, think about it, right? You have like an egg, and there's a bird, and new life.
Stop it! You're the worst. Stop it.
No, stretch.
Well, no, what was stretch? No, but honestly, the reason why I watch Alien around Christmas time was that when the first box set of the quadrilogy came out, like in 2001, it dropped like late November, early December. So I got it as a Christmas gift. And so I watched it basically at Christmas time into the new year. So for me, I like to watch it around the new year, around Christmassy time, like the cold months is when I really like to watch the Alien movies. So, but it's not Christmassy thematically, obviously.
Yeah. No, but we did marathon the first 3 episodes on New Year's.
Yeah. Oh man. I wonder if we should do that again.
I don't think we can.
Why not? Why can't we do it on Twitch? We did. I mean, all we would have to do is just do what we did last time, which is it would just be us talking about it, and we tell people where we are in the timeline. It's like, okay, start watching it now. And we become our own running commentary, and we could do our own commentary track like we did the years ago. We did. So this is actually a real thing that we did. We actually did a live stream, and it was the Alien trilogy stream, and we did back to back to back. We did the extended cuts of these movies, so it was exceptionally long. And we started on New Year's Day, and it took us like 7.5, 8 hours, something like that.
A work day sounds about right.
Yeah, and we basically took like I think 1 30-minute break. We only broke long enough to basically do bathroom breaks, and I think we ordered some pizza or something. But the rest of the time we just watched straight through, and it was me and Laura, Christina. I think Matt was there, wasn't he?
No, it was just the 3 of us.
I thought there was somebody else with us.
No, it's a running joke. It's become a running joke now because we always think Matt is with us when he actually isn't.
Poor Matt. We miss Matt. Yeah, he moved up to Columbia. But no, it was a lot of fun because the fun part was that was when Christina had just gotten into Aliens, so she was really like, I am all about this.
Oh man.
Yeah.
For Aliens, that's like her favorite. So she got to that. And then my favorite is still Alien 3 because that was the first rated R movie I got to watch at a theater on my birthday because it dropped on my birthday. And I love Fincher, and I was very, very adamant that we had to watch it. And I spent an hour and like 55 minutes defending that movie.
You did.
I mean, I just actually last weekend, actually the past couple of weekends, I've been talking about Alien. Man, that like my friend, he's not an Alien fan. He's like, it's okay, and I was like, oh no. We can because we were talking about Ridley Scott, and we were talking about like he said Ridley Scott has only done 2 good movies, 2, and that's The Duelist and Blade Runner.
Okay, first off, just because he named Duelist, I know exactly the kind of movie, friend, that you just talked about. No.
Oh, be nice, because you know. No, first off, he's wrong. No, I schooled him. I was like, how dare you? I was like, that's fine. Actually, he's the second person who I've talked to when you talk about Ridley Scott, how much they love the friggin' Duelist. And I'm like, I feel
it's not a bad movie.
I don't want to. It's beautiful, like cinematography, whatever, cool. And that's usually what they love. But come on, how are you going to say Ridley Scott's only done 2 good movies? 2? How are you going to leave out Alien?
Let's talk
about this. Is a whole other tangent.
No, we're in it now. No, you put down the comments. Let's talk about it.
Oh boy. This is what happens when all 3 of us get together. We run on super left field tangents.
We are over time.
This is a great tangent, though. Okay, so let's really talk about some of his fantastic top tier movies. Okay, now this is me.
I'm going to pull it up so we can. Yes, go ahead.
So, The Duelist, absolutely. I'm trying to go chronologically. Alien, absolutely.
Oh, you want to go?
Blade Runner, absolutely. Legend is awesome.
That's what I said. Legend is so underrated. Also, first, I hate to say this because you guys are going to hate me, and actually, I don't know if Eduardo is still here. If he is, he's also going to hate me. I hate Blade Runner. It's so fun, and I love Harrison Ford. Blade Runner is so frigging boring. Blade Runner is the rush. Blade Runner is the rush of sci-fi movies. I mean, that is in the Band Rush. I hate the Band Rush. I hate them so much. But
I thought you watched the movie with the
no. No, what I mean is I hate the Band Rush. I hate Geddy Lee's friggin' voice. He needs to die in a fire. Well, whatever. But my whole thing is, even though I hate Rush, I can still appreciate them for what they've done for music. I can't take that away from them, even if I don't like their music. Blade Runner is the same. I understand how much, especially being such a sci-fi person, I understand what it is to not only the sci-fi genre, but also to movies in general. That being said, holy shit, it is so boring. It is the most boring. I was just like, and then people were like, but what about the whole tears? And don't care. I don't care. And I don't mean to be that person, but I am. I mean, that being
Blade Runner, I put Blade Runner in the same category I put like 2001 in, which is there are things about that movie that are absolutely amazing and are critical to where we go as a cinematography culture.
Sure.
As cinematography was built around special effects, storytelling. There are things that happen in Blade Runner that are critical to sci-fi. But you're right, it is a very slow movie, and you have to be in the right mood for it.
Yeah.
And the Blade Runner, the Villeneuve Blade Runner, same problem. It's a very slow movie.
Oh no, I love that one. I love 2049. 2049 is friggin' fantastic. Oh, I love it.
It has the same issues, but again, I love it. I think but I welcome those issues because I know when I'm watching Blade Runner, I'm taking a super slow journey. So when I go into 2049, I'm slowing it down, and I'm okay with that. But let's get back to movies that Ridley Scott these are just objectively one that people always forget that he directed. Thelma and Louise.
Oh yeah, totally. So good.
Thelma and Louise is baller.
Wait, Christina, have you seen Thelma and Louise?
I remember parts of it.
She's the baby.
No.
So I'm a baby.
Right. She's like, I know Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis is in it, and I know Brad Pitt takes off.
You know what? No, you don't get off on I take that back. I retract that statement. Just because you're a baby, because I'm older than you, but I have also seen like movies way before my time. So
yeah, I know.
it almost does. Yeah, I was trying to let you off, but then no. But yes, Thelma and Louise, fantastic.
It's like
Louise.
the power of digital media is at our fingertips, and so like there's really no excuse.
There really is no excuse not to have seen it. Now, after Thelma and Louise, things get a little dicey for him. I think the next one that I really remember from him, I would say would be White Squall. White Squall, I really liked. But I also realized that is, if you've never seen it, White Squall is actually based on a true story. It's about a husband and wife who had set up a school for very pretentious rich people. Rich people's kids to get on this kind of like sailing yacht, and they would sail around the Atlantic Ocean and teach them life skills and teach them mathematics and stuff. But they would learn a trade as well. They would learn how to become sailors. And then they would come back at the end of the year. And this was like in the 50s and the early 60s. And there was this event. It's called a White Squall. And basically it's a storm that's so bad it looks like the rain is actually coming from the ocean and going into the sky. That's how thick the wall
Jeff Bridges. Gotcha.
Yeah, Jeff
okay.
It's a really good movie, and it has the same kind of vibe as Dead Poet Society or The Fisher King. So if you like those movies, it's that same kind of vibe. And it's interesting that I said Dead Poet Society and Fisher King, because Dead Poet Society is about a bunch of rich boys at a pretentious kind of school. Same thing with White Squall. Jeff Bridges is in Fisher King and White Squall. So there you go. There's your crossover. But it's a really good movie. It's wonderfully shot. It's incredibly sad because, again, it's based on a true story and a bunch of these boys do die. I think out of like the 9 boys who are on it, I think 4 survive, maybe less. And then most of the crew dies too. So like the husband makes it off, the wife doesn't, and a bunch of other crew members die too. It's pretty sad, but it's a wonderfully told story. And he does a really good job in it. But I do also admit it's literally I have super privilege in the 60s kind of a movie. So, and I know it's like, but you have to kind of acknowledge that. You have to at least kind of go like, so. But God, after that, I would say Gladiator, right? I think Gladiator would be the next movie.
I mean, I don't know if it's no, I think you're right. Yeah. And Gladiator, who doesn't love Gladiator?
Gladiator's a good movie. Like, that's a fun movie, And
are you not entertained?
Right. Let me see. Okay, so after Gladiator, and Brittany, check me on this one. I know he did a couple of movies after Gladiator, but I think the next one for me that really lands is Black Hawk Down.
Yes, right after. Yeah.
And I love Black Hawk Down because Black Hawk Down, first off, again, based on a true story, fantastic. But it's also one of the few movies where, it's not Michael Ironside. What's his damn name? Hold on, I gotta go. Tom Sizemore. It's one of the few movies where Tom Sizemore survives. And Laura and I, we are huge fans of Tom Sizemore, and one of our running gags is that he can't. This motherfucker can't make it through a movie. He can't. All right.
Is he like Sean Bean?
He is. Okay, so people don't even know who Tom Sizemore is until you point out some of the roles he's been in. Tom Sizemore is the best friend of Ray Fiennes in Strange Days, the one who actually is doing all the bad things. He's also Tom Hanks's lieutenant in Saving Private Ryan, the one who basically gets shot and killed right near the end of the movie when they're trying to defend the bridge. So whenever you see Tom Sizemore in a movie, like you could just go through it. And
no.
Oh, that
looked real bad.
That was actually really cool looking though. Here, hold on. Let me pull up a.
It looks great. Hold on. I don't know how things work.
Let me see.
No, you got a Dropbox. Oh, there we go. Still can't really.
Yeah, it's like some X-ray, whatever. It's fine. I'll let Shaun.
Here we go.
I'll let Shaun do it.
There's Tom Sizemore. So, but yeah, most people remember him.
Yeah, he is the guy who dies a lot.
He's the dude who dies in everything. The dude dies in everything. Let's see if we have another better photo of him. Oh yeah, here we go. That's a good one. So,
yeah, because he's in every war because he's in Saving Private Ryan. He's in Black Hawk Down. I like him more in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, he's in Pearl Harbor. He's the one of the mechanics. He dies in Pearl Harbor. He gets blown up in freaking Pearl Harbor.
He's apparently also in USS Indianapolis, which was another Nick Cage movie, which I did not watch because it looks like hot garbage.
Now, I will say this: after Black Hawk Down, for me, Ridley Scott's filmography really kind of goes into the dumper. There's a lot of movies there that aren't bad, but they're not objectively, oh my god, these are amazing pieces of work.
Sure.
I mean, what he did, he did what was it, American Gangster, and then he did like Kingdom of Heaven.
Yep.
He did that Robin Hood
He did
movie
Exodus, which is Russell Crowe, and it's bad. It's real bad.
We all know.
Oh, he did Hannibal too. He did Hannibal.
He did Hannibal. He did Prometheus.
But again, so bad.
He's not on a good streak right now.
But then
he's not.
Then out of nowhere, after Prometheus, where I'm like, okay, I think I'm done with Ridley Scott. I'm like, I think I'm done with him. Then he does The Martian, which
Martian is great. Yeah,
like he just swings and he crushes The Martian.
Like, if I've got to just say, like, if you're gonna say movies that if you're gonna be like, he only has 2 good movies, first off, it's a lie. Right. And if you're going to go like really good, I'll at least give him 4. And that would be obviously Alien, Gladiator, The Martian, and for me, Legend. Fine. I'll give people Blade Runner, but then you also have Blade Runner 2049. So, I mean, that right there, that's fantastic. And that doesn't even add the ones that are just okay. So like you've got your Black Hawk Down, G.I. Jane,
G.I. Jane. I always get G.I. Jane, didn't I? Yeah. That was that's a decent movie. That's not. I wouldn't put it like at the top tier of what makes Ridley Scott, but that is a solid movie. So to say that Ridley Scott has 2 films and you go to The Duelist as one of those 2, I'm like, really?
I guess that's for people who, if you really are into cinematography, I think it is very. Honestly, I don't even remember. If I'm gonna be real honest, I didn't finish it. But that's because I started it late, and I was like, eh.
Yeah, I think you nailed it with that. I think that's a cinematography thing, and I love cinematography, but sometimes we can get a little too snobbish about that, and like, because there are some movies where I'll watch it and people say it's a horrible movie, but you watch it for the compositions. No, I watch movies to have fun stories too, or to entertain me in a way. Christina and I were actually having a conversation about this on Twitter, where I said fan service is not necessarily a bad thing. And she says, it is when you're making the same movie over and over again. And I said, say that to my love of all Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
How bad.
Those are not effectively good movies, but they are fan service, and I love them.
They're so entertaining. Like, Friday the 13th isn't even my favorite horror series, but it's really entertaining.
So, I mean, there is something to be said that fan service doesn't necessarily mean bad. It just, I hate that people use it as a dismissive term. Oh, it's fan service. Ugh.
I mean, it's fine to have fan service, but mix it up once in a while. Good God.
I agree that you can do that. But I just don't like the dismissive term of, it's fan service.
Sure. So to tie it all back into Star Wars, the last Rise of Skywalker, fan service, and that's where you get it negative. That's where it's negative. But then I think there was also fan service when we did The Force Awakens, which I think, me personally, I love The Force Awakens. I know it's like a rehashing and whatever, but I thought it was great. To me, that's good fan service.
My problem with Rise of Skywalker, flat out, is it tried to tell about 2.5 movies worth of story in a movie. That's honestly my big issue, is that there's a lot of story that needed to happen in the middle, like with Last Jedi. And again, that goes to Disney not understanding what a trilogy is. And not understanding that if you're like a Star Wars trilogy isn't 3 standalone. This isn't, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Those are 3 standalone movies that are all connected by Indy. This is the story of this family going through a trial and tribulation, blah blah, whatever you want to call it. You gotta know where your beginning, middle, and end is. And literally, because of the way they did it, they have a beginning. They've got a movie that's fantastic that has absolutely nothing to do with anything in the macro plot that shows up at the end. And that the thing that J.J. Abrams had to do is he had to fit in all that plot that would have gone into the middle of that trilogy into the end of it. Almost everything about Rise of Skywalker, I'm okay with. But it really is, like, the plot twist of Palpatine still being around, I'm okay with. I wasn't okay with the lineage of Rey. I thought that was the one thing that really kind of irked me, because if they did that, that should have been the end of Last Skywalker, The Last Jedi. Like, that should have been instead of your parents were nobody, say, no, your parent was somebody who ran away from his destiny, or your that would have been a huge moment. And that would have informed the Rise of Skywalker in a completely different way. But they give her, 2.5 minutes in the Rise of Skywalker to process that? Like, it just doesn't. It didn't have room to breathe, and that sucks. So But again, I put almost all of that on Disney. I don't put that on the directors. I don't put that on Rian Johnson. I don't put that on J.J. Abrams. I put that on. They brought in Rian Johnson. They thought it was going to be a smash hit. It's a wonderful movie, but it just doesn't move the plot forward. And that's the problem. Even when you watch The Last Jedi, it's a fantastic movie, but it really doesn't move the plot forward in any meaningful way because it breaks the chain of the 7 movies that came before it. Which, if Disney had the stone cold cojones to finish that story, I think it would have actually worked really well. But they didn't. They got gun shy, and they said, people really didn't like that we broke the formula. So they went back to the formula. And now Last Jedi is this movie that, again, great movie, doesn't fit with the other 8 movies. So
that's a whole other, we ain't got the time for that.
We're about 30 minutes over because I'd blocked out about 2 hours for this. And Brittany said, we're not going to make 2 hours.
No, we never do.
I know.
Not even on the podcast.
He was like, let's do it at this time. And I was like, no, that puts us, we're going to be done like at midnight. We should start at least an hour earlier. And here we are. You know what?
It's only 9:30. So
we haven't seen each other in a while. And it's fine. I said I had to put myself to bed because some of us have to go into an office to work. So, I was like, let me do this.
I just have to roll over.
You know what? I hate you both.
Well, tomorrow I have to get up and I have to come sit down on this exact spot and do my last day of the year. So yeah. And honestly, I think I might just take tomorrow off. I might just send a message. Hey guys, I'm just taking today. I'm taking.
Oh, now you trifling.
So honestly, literally tomorrow is basically the last real day of work. Anyways, after this, the rest of the year is just quiet.
You know what?
So
it must be. I'm so sick of people.
Like the only reason I'm not actually working on my work computer right now is because the program kicks me out and couldn't get back in.
That's okay though. But yeah, basically until January 4th, starting tomorrow until January 4th, I get some free time for myself. And
a lot of people get that apparently. People with real adult jobs apparently get that. Me and my adult job, we don't get that. I'm an essential worker in my healthcare industry. So anyway, I'm not bitter.
My college is shut down. I have no choice. I mean, I'm like, okay, well, it's all right.
I'm not bitter at all. Well, whatever. We can totally do this. We can totally do this again because it is fun. And we popped my Twitch cherry. I've never done a Twitch thing. Yeah.
They do Twitch.
You're coming over though. Laura's like, I don't want to come say
to be a lot longer though.
I was just coming
does it?
Warning. Yeah.
Having the rest of the year off.
Oh, for having so Laura's mad that I have the rest of the year off too. So.
Hi, Laura.
I'm mad too, girl. I'm big mad.
Mm-hmm. I have to work.
Same.
So
I turned it up.
I'll make Shaun do my work for me.
Yeah, do it.
He can't.
Crack the whip.
No.
I'm way smarter than he is. So he doesn't know how to do it.
When it comes to the program that she works in, absolutely. If you put me in front of that program, I'm like, I got nothing. So I'm okay with that though. I know my strengths and my weaknesses. Yours right now is trifling.
Yeah.
Trifling. And Brittany, you haven't been around for Trifle Fog? Girl, we got so many things to talk to
I know. Look, we can I know we were gonna try to talk like holiday movies. I'm willing to do this maybe early next week pre-Christmas. Christmas.
I know on Tuesday. So for those of you programming note, next Tuesday, my friend Anastasia Washington is going to be joining us at 8:00 on Tuesday. And we're going to do EST, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. And we're going to be doing this again. But we're going to be talking about like genre movies that we like to watch during the holiday season, stuff like that. So Brittany, if you want to, we'll make sure to like do it for like 2 hours. You can come join us so we could do that. And maybe Christina will join us too.
My ear is too tiny to keep this earbud in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It just keeps popping out.
That's okay. But maybe we can get Christina, or maybe even Laura will come and join us. Will you can join us maybe on Tuesday?
Ooh.
I don't know anything about movies.
Well, you can tell us about the movies you like to watch during Christmas season.
And see, the thing that's funny is I've watched every movie ever made.
Yeah, I know. I showed them to you.
But I forget them as soon as I'm done watching them.
It's true.
So it's really hard for me to talk about things. I'm like,
Well, actually, Laura, now you're watching because we're watching the Star Wars marathon that we're going through right now. How are you enjoying the Star Wars marathon the way we're doing this with Clone Wars being mixed in and now we're into Rebels interspersing through the movies? I Johnny on the spotted her. She's
I'm like, she's like, yo, I'm not ready for this.
No, I actually really, really like it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to tell y'all. This is a true story.
A true.
A true.
Okay, I'm going to move the microphone a little bit closer to you, okay? Tell us a true, baby.
I did not like Ahsoka.
Oh, she hated Ahsoka.
In the beginning of the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm. No one did.
Everyone loved her. She was very popular, and I was like, I just don't get it. I don't see it. But as the Clone Wars went on and we got towards the end, I really did start to like her character. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we got to the end of the Clone Wars, and it was just like all the feels.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I definitely like Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So it took the very end of Clone Wars for me to really start to like her. Like when she basically left.
Yeah.
When she was just like, I don't need this. You people didn't believe in me. You're all I have, and you didn't believe in me. And she was like, I don't need this.
Yeah, because that's the thing.
Yeah, okay, I like this person.
Yeah, because that was the big thing, is that they have to find a way to write Ahsoka out because she's not in Revenge of the Sith. So you have to find a way to get her out of the damn show.
Actually, that's when I really just started to like her, is when she was just like, yeah, I don't need this, and left.
Yeah, how are you liking her in Rebels?
Well, she was only in it briefly, that I can tell.
I mean, like...
Oh, that was a dog. So I don't know if she's going to pop back up again. I really don't know. The only thing that kind of makes me crazy is...
We're in season 3 now, so there's only 4 seasons of Rebels, so we're blowing through pretty quick.
I'm way behind.
When she's still alive,
same.
When we get to the New Order editions of Star Wars, because that took place
the new trilogy.
Just before Mandalorian.
No. The new trilogy happens 21 years after Mandalorian.
Oh, okay. So maybe she's not.
I mean, Ahsoka would be much more aged at that point.
Aged.
But yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how long her race was.
Yeah, because Mandalorian happens 9 years after Return of the Jedi.
Oh, okay. Because I was just wondering, like, why we didn't
It's either 5 or 9 years.
Why we never heard about her when she was trying to find a Jedi to train her.
I'm sorry, it's 5 years. Why
did it have to be Luke when there's other options in the universe? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I guess if Luke is as old as he is, Ahsoka's like 20 years older. Mm-hmm. Or 30. I don't know how old she was. 25, 20, 25.
I mean, she was like 15 when the Clone Wars started. So
20. So
but how does she age?
Her species are around the same as humans.
Well, we don't know that for fact. All they have to do is all they have to do is say, "Oh, we age slower than you," and we have literally there's only 2 of her species. There's Shaak Ti, who gets run through with a lightsaber.
Wow, dude! Spoilers.
Shaak, it happened in Revenge of the Sith. What are you talking about? Like this?
Oh, okay, whatever.
I mean, she got wiped out in Order 66.
No, actually, she got wiped out by Grievous, and they cut the scene. Remember?
Oh yeah, that happened in the cartoon.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. So what happened? No. This is the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars cartoon that happened back in 2004.
My knees hurt.
Okay,
this is not good sitting for.
I told you I'd get you a chair. I told you I'd get you a chair. Here, grab that one over there. Grab any of the numerous chairs that are around you. The bountiful chair. But no, so basically, in the Genndy Tartakovsky, the guy who did Samurai Jack, he did a version of Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. That was really cool, and it came out at the same time as Revenge of the Sith. And the story is that Palpatine is kidnapped, and Shaak Ti goes to save him. And there's a cutscene from Revenge of the Sith where Grievous has her on her knees, and he comes up behind her and he runs a lightsaber through her back, and she dies.
Was this the same time Palpatine was kidnapped and Anakin had to kill Dooku?
Yes.
So that's happening at the same time then.
Ballpark, something along those lines. Yeah. So,
cool.
But yeah, there's like a whole thing that kind of happened, and they just cut it out. But yeah, so Shaak Ti gets killed, but we don't know how long their species actually lives.
I don't even know what the name of their species is.
You know what? Let's find out.
It might be on Wikipedia.
Yeah, I'm just going right now.
Google is our friend.
Jedi Greedo from my Twitch says that he would love for us to discuss the finale of Mando.
Oh, when it comes out tomorrow?
Uh-huh.
I mean,
is tomorrow the finale?
Tomorrow's the finale, so we can talk about it on Tuesday.
Because I know these headphones down on the floor.
I know Anastasia watches Mando, so I'll tell her that we're going to talk about that.
Can't be the finale. It just started.
Yeah,
it does feel like it just started.
It did, yeah. That's how good the series is.
It is really good. I'm very surprised by it.
Mm-hmm.
But we're about to
I'm very surprised by how much I like it.
Well, I have an altar set up for Baby Grogu, Baby Yoda Grogu.
It's true.
Baby Grogu, Yoda. I have a little altar. I have a little altar for him set up.
I'm gonna go find it.
So I pray to it for his safe return.
I'm gonna go find it right now. Hold on.
Blasphemous.
While
That's
you're looking, I would
blasphemous.
like I'm just gonna correct you guys. Giancarlo, it's not Esposito, it's Esposito. Because he's not Hispanic, he's Italian. So it's Esposito, which I heard him on Mark Maron's podcast because it was so great. And he corrected Mark Maron. He's like, but when I'm in the States, it's Esposito.
Yeah.
Can everyone see it?
So this is going to be, so everybody can see this. Hold on, here we go. Boom. So there we go, guys. There's Laura's shrine. As soon as
Lord, it literally looks like a baby Jesus looking to the heavens. To our Lord and Savior, Daddy Mando.
And you see me say, "Oh boy," I'm very concerned for Laura right now.
Yeah, this actually a story.
The night before, we were out shopping, and I saw this painting, but it had a scuff in the middle of it, and I didn't want to get it because it's actually made to look like an aged oil painting.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's done intentionally that way, which actually makes it look so much cooler. But it had like one scratch in it, and I was like, well, I can paint over it. So I wandered the whole store holding it, but not completely into it. And then on a rack, I found one more that had a chip in the frame.
Right there. There's a little chip if you guys can see it. It's
There's
right
a little chip on the top, but the picture itself was perfect. So I put the other one back and took the chipped frame instead. And then I didn't know where to put it. So I just had it at the front door on the floor.
The next day,
we watched the episode, and then I'm like, I know what I'm going to do with my picture. And so then I just ran around the house for 40 minutes finding every candle I own.
All these little votive candles and we made a little altar.
And then I decorated it, and it's still in my office, and it's just sitting there like a little shrine for his safe return. May our Lord and Savior, Baby Yoda, return.
So there you go, guys. So yeah, that happened. That's a real story. I could not believe it. It was so, because I said this looks like a Lord and Savior oil painting, and I was like, if we walk out of this art place and we do not pick it up, you're going to be mad. And she was like, I would be mad. I was like, pick it up. And so I'm so glad, because within 24 hours she had the perfect reason to actually have bought this particular painting. So it worked out beautifully.
It's my second Baby Yoda painting.
It is actually. She has a first one that hangs out in front
I have
of
a different one that looks like it's cute watercolor.
Yeah.
And then I have this one where it looks like the Christ child.
It's true. It's true.
I just sent you a picture of what it reminds me of. Yeah, I just sent you in your Facebook Messenger of what it reminds me of. I'm like, that's exactly what it is.
Stevie B says, our Baby Yoda though with Mando, Grogu be thy name.
Grogu be thy name.
Yes, just like that.
Okay, so this is what. Hold on, let me open this up and let me see if there's a bigger one. Is there a larger?
Oh my gosh, Laura! You should find to see if there are prayer candles with Grogu on them.
Oh, there is. You have to go on
Etsy and you can get them on there.
All right, so let me share this real quick so we can see what Brittney.
I saw one that had Keanu Reeves holding him. So
there we go, guys. This is what it was reminding Brittney of. So
the only thing
just looking up.
Yeah,
he's the halo.
He kind of does. He has the glow a little bit of. So it totally works.
Maybe I need to improve the painting.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah. So, yes, we take our Baby Yoda in very seriously.
Not Brittney.
You're welcome. I sent it. Oh, look at the kitty cat.
Laura, I has the concerns
for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's 2020 and it makes me happy, and that's all that matters.
Honestly, that was one of the things we wanted to do tonight. Was we wanted to just have fun, because this year has been so weird, and we've all been separated in weird ways that we normally wouldn't. Normally we would see Brittney.
I'm even wearing Baby Yoda pajama pants.
She is.
I got Baby Yoda on my butt.
Little kitty.
He's so kitty.
I know you did. She ran. But normally we would have seen Brittney a couple times this year and whatnot, and it would have been a fun time, but we haven't had a chance to see our friends. We haven't had a chance to hang out. And I was like, let's just do a thing. Let's just have a Yuletide chat. If we had a little fire kind of going, a little fireside chat, it'd totally been great, but
I could put an iPad behind you with a digital fire on it.
Totally do that. Little fake fire right behind me.
You guys have a green screen.
We do actually have a green screen.
I'll bring a computer monitor and put
Oh,
it behind
Lord.
you.
But no, we have a green screen. There actually is a green screen function in this. All we have to do is put the green screen up, and boom, it'll.
Making stupid
Yeah, I
faces.
saw that because I was going to do a virtual background, but I needed a blue or a green screen. So I'm like,
you can absolutely do that. But yeah, we do have some green fabric here, so we could totally do a green screen.
I've done some virtual backgrounds at work for meetings.
Yeah, this one, unfortunately, you actually have to have some.
Yeah, because like when my old job, we had I don't remember, we had whatever it was, but yeah, we had to do the same thing. It would just let you do it, and it looked like I was in a lovely chalet. And they were like, "Ooh," they're like, "Your house is so," because these were coworkers. They were new coworkers who had never seen my house because we had gotten bought out by another company, and it's like all this very contemporary, like a steel table, and then it had floor to ceiling windows, and you could see like the ocean behind, and they're like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "Oh, me? I'm just hanging out in my living room. Right. It's fine." And then my friends who knew, and then my friends who knew me would message me. They're like, "You bitch, where are you?" And I'm like, "It's just a virtual background. If I sit really still, you won't know."
Right. I'm in my Tuscan villa. Off the
yeah,
coast.
pretty much. And then I dropped it because someone's like, "That doesn't look real." And then they saw my wall of pops behind me, and they were like, and that's why I didn't do it, because then that's all anybody wanted to friggin' talk about. They're like, "Oh my God, you have so many pops." And I'm like, I know. I have a problem. I was like, "That's not all of them." They're like, "Really?" So then I'm taking my computer and turning it around and everything. I'm like, "Look, it just keeps going and going."
Oh
and
my
going.
God, Brittney.
And that's not all of them. Let me. Yeah, there's more. And then there's a whole 2 cases, like plastic bins in the floor because I don't have space to. I have a problem.
There's a guy has a background of pops like that. All and it's a very deep room, and it's just like a whole wall of pops and stuff back there.
Heaven.
But he's kind of organized where it looks like it's like an office, so they're on bookshelves, and then there'll be like, and then there'll be books, and then there'll be pops, and then there'll be some books, and then there'll be more pops. So yeah,
I love it.
He made it look good because
I like it.
We have rules about how your backgrounds are supposed to look.
Yeah,
and that's why I put up the virtual. And that's why I did the virtual one with me being in Tuscany. So it's fine.
All right. Well, guys, this has been fantastic. Let's do it again on Tuesday. We'll talk about the Mando finale, so that way we can talk about that and we can have some time to process it. But right now, Brittney has got to go and watch The Stand, episode 1.
So do I.
I do. I'm so excited.
So do I. I need to go there too.
But before we go, in case you guys didn't know, I do also have a little holiday look at the little. Laura got this for me about 2 years ago. Was this last year or was this 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
What was that? Oh,
give us your best Wookiee. Give us your best Wookiee growl, yodel, yell.
Well, you have to roll your tongue, but also grunt at the same time.
These are all horrible. These are all bad.
Wait. I got water. I got water.
So, with that Wookiee sign off, we'll be back on Tuesday, 8:00 Eastern Standard.
It's a drowned Wookiee. Oh God, I love you guys.
Christina, this is a PG-13 show, okay? Whatever the hell thing you just did.
Whoa. Hey now.
She was just gargling water. You're an all-star.
Water.
Terrible.
You're the one. You're the one who's taking it there.
Yeah.
Perv.
What are you guys talking about? I was just talking about being a terrible Wookiee sound. What were you talking about?
Bringing in the rating.
Thank you. How? What? Try to get out of it. How do you say PG-13? What does that have to do with a Wookiee sound?
I thought she was cursing. I thought she was cursing in Wookiee. I thought she used her third F-bomb. So I don't know what you guys were talking about, but
you're a trifle. I'm gonna kill you after this show.
Oh, I'm totally trifling.
All right, I'm gonna go watch The Stand. I'm watching The Stand. We can talk about that too. I think. Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyways, go on and get out of here, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. And of course, as always, at the end of the show, if you want to, make sure to follow everybody on their social medias so you can do that, and definitely take care of everybody. Don't forget to wear a mask.
Spelled wrong this whole time.
You did?
Oh, you did.
Christina, fix it right now.
There's no helping that.
Yeah, she forgot an A in her name.
Wait,
it's
how do I
X10.
change it? I can't remember.
You can go over to your on your.
You have to hit those 3 little dots.
The little 3 little dots next to your name, and you should be able to
edit name.
I have to exit the full screen then.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's fine. We're at the end of the show. Does it make a difference? Maybe, possibly.
Yeah,
it's fixed.
There you go.
Christina,
I'm in my folder. Yay!
Christina is ninja. So there we go. But yes, as always, guys, at the end of the show, we always say this. So make sure to take care of yourself, take care of each other, and make sure you do that by wearing your mask if you have to go outside. Also, make sure to wash your hands and use hand sanitizer. So that way you make sure that you try to keep just this communicability of COVID down. We're near the end of the tunnel. We're not there yet. Don't pass this on to your friends and family. Take care of yourself. We want to see your faces in 2021. We want to hang out with you at cons and shows. Oh, as a reminder, the Pop Cycle show.
I have a Baby Yoda mask.
You do, but the Pop Cycle, the booth, Etsy store is only open until December 31st, right?
Mm-hmm, that's correct.
End of December, we're shutting it down. So thank you so much if you've been hanging out with us. And hold on, I'm moving this off my shoulder. Thank you.
DC Black Geeks. Woo woo. Sorry, I had to give a shout out.
Thank you for following DC Black Geeks.
What's up?
But definitely thanks for hanging out with us. Come back on on Tuesday. And we'll be here on Tuesday talking about the end of Mandalorian. We'll be hanging out with my friend Anastasia Washington. We'll bring Brittany back. We'll bring Christina back. Christina's clearly about to go walk through her house because she wants to probably get food or something in her parents because she's on COVID.
I have to walk around my house with a mask on.
You have to sanitize.
Can you ask them to can't they bring you food and drink and leave it at your door and wait on you, hand and foot?
That's what they should do.
That's not her parents.
That's not my parents.
I know.
I know. Before you even walk out the door. Otherwise, putting the mask on is pointless.
And one thing I want everybody to do is think of cool genre movies that you like to watch during the holiday season. Doesn't have to be a Christmas movie, but just cool genre movies that you like to watch.
Oh, I'm ready. I got a list.
And we'll make some suggestions on Tuesday, okay? So just make up the list, and we'll talk about that on Tuesday, okay, guys?
Okay.
All right, we'll see you next time. So again, thanks again. Wear a mask, wash your hands, hand sanitizer, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.
And don't yell at retail workers.
And don't yell at retail workers.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
Be kind, don't be a dick. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.